Welcome, BBCers, to episode number 293 of the Broken by Concept podcast, the number one League of Legends, solo queue, educational, and motivational podcast. Charlie, Curtis, we're going to kick off today's episode with some breaking news about Apex LP gains. We're going to be talking about LP to kick off the podcast. Riot Froxon, been a guest on our show, has announced big changes to LP ranks in Apex tiers are Master Tier Plus. Is that what Apex tiers are defined as? And it'll be interesting to see if does this affect the rest of the ladder. So I'm going to be doing some reading, some breaking news. Hey everyone, we've had a lot of attempted change to resolve some of the root issues with the Apex experience this year. Some have worked okay and others haven't worked as well. We wanted to shine a light on changes that are going out, hopefully today, and how we're going to approach it for the near term, and wanted to apologize for the experience that people have been running into so far. We have done an episode on the Apex, because people might be saying, you know, what's going on here? You can go back a few, 3-4 episodes where we actually talked about how there might be some sort of ELO inflation and the Apex tiers, you know, Riot were having some problems. So that's why.
Oh, with like the double LP.
Yeah, the LP gains were crazy. Like everyone was getting plus 30, minus 10.
Yep. So
we have, you know, that was the problem earlier in the year. So this is, again, addressing this. They've been experimented with things in the lab. So, does every region have negative LP gains? This is the question. Less than 5 of our 16 regions are having negative LP gains in Apex right now, and they're to varying extents. Some of those are experiencing it constantly, and others just a little bit, and most none at all. Are you guys experiencing anything in our Oceanic region?
No, I had negative LP gains when I had a negative win rate, and now I have positive LP gains. Now I have a positive win rate.
No.
Usually how it works. Everything's, I definitely feel the same. Is Aegis of Valor causing this? So this is the double LP thing, and this is the...
That's what we thought was the cause,
Yes.
right? Yep. A lot of the cause anyway.
We don't see any long-term impacts on LP gains caused by Aegis, especially given that the majority of regions are functioning completely fine. What's going on then? Master's been more achievable this season, and the best players getting stronger as the years go on is expanding the gap between the bottom of Master and the top of Challenger.
The gap is getting bigger. Yep. That makes sense.
The addition of Challenger duos made it more challenging to balance some of these games. While we took preemptive mitigations to reduce the impact of things like rank 1 and 2 duoing together, they weren't powerful enough and resulted in the best players catapulting further ahead. The rollout of our improved matchmaking and better balance to duos, this is now live in every region, does a better job of balancing duos and balancing autofills to make Apex matches more balanced in over 90% of cases. But there is still work to be done when the very best players are duoing together. In the live rank system, the max LP attainable has a soft cap to prevent LP gains from getting too high, which combined with the above issues has led to less than ideal Apex ladder experience. So that's what's going on. Any comments, questions, concerns?
Yeah, I mean, I did notice the cap on OS for sure. And I think, when was this tweet made?
Today.
Today.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm recording this on March 20th.
So is there more to the tweet?
Yes.
Oh.
I've got some comments, but I wanted you to finish
let's
reading the
finish the
post,
tweet,
and then
yeah.
we'll cover it.
All right. So the big question people are going to say is, are you going to reset the ladder? There are some set of people who are really vocal about resetting the ladder. We hear the concerns over taking them seriously.
This is immediately just again, just reset the ladder.
Just start from scratch. Everyone wants to just, all right, everyone, no one knows what rank everyone is. People are all over the place. Call for the reset. That's what people want. At the same time, there are a lot of players who will find it very frustrating for all their progress to be reset, while some players will be happy with reset. Others will not, so we're continuing to evaluate. Will you guys be happy or?
They're continuing to, so they're actually considering a recess.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
No, that's a terrible idea. It's going to be Armageddon. I mean, cats and dogs rain from the sky.
Yeah, it would be something that would obviously be good in the long run. Like if you could get through the hellhole of the first like year. It'd be a year of hellhole,
Yeah.
gaming. And then maybe after that. But because
No, they're not saying the full. What are you talking about? They're not saying the full hard MMR reset.
Yes, they are.
I mean,
The ladder reset. That's what we're talking about here.
No.
What is it
Yeah.
saying then?
You can't just reset the Apex tiers. That's not how it works.
No, they'll just do a normal reset, like normal season.
No, they're talking about a full reset. Isn't it? I'm 95% sure they're talking about a full. That's what's been.
Been the consensus
that's
at
been
the
the
moment
consensus.
is that everyone needs to go back to 1500 MMR and then let them.
I thought it was
figure
just
out.
a normal
No.
season reset.
No,
All right,
because
that's what you
the
guys
reason
think.
this is keep coming up, Nathan, is because the consensus, right, is that if you have been high elo in the past, right, you're getting these crazy LP gains because your MMR is high, which is keeping these people afloat or allowing them to just kind of just climb incredibly fast. And it's unfair to the other players because they don't have that MMR. So it becomes this kind of like perpetuating cycle of
Yeah,
like,
exactly right.
Yeah,
It's like the
that's
rich,
the theory.
the rich get richer
Yes,
mindset.
exactly
And that
right.
if you're in the lower classes, then it's really hard to climb out because the people occupying the spots
They're
to the top
already
of the
so
ladder,
far ahead.
They're generational. They've been there
Yes.
for ages. So it's actually interesting, like
It is.
the analogy with the economy, I guess, in a way.
yeah, that's actually a really great way of framing it. I think we'll have to come back to that. There are some points about that, but yeah.
Wow. Well, I would like Froxhams have said a hard reset because there's a difference between a soft reset and a hard
Why
reset.
would they? There is
Did
a
they
soft,
say soft or hard?
But
They
they're
didn't
saying
say
this,
anything.
they're saying soft reset happens every year. So obviously
Yeah.
that's not what we're talking about here. There's nothing controversial.
what makes you think
That's
it's a
why.
soft reset?
That's why they're saying it's such a controversial big deal because we're talking about a hard
a
reset.
soft
here.
reset would be controversial as well.
Well, we do a soft reset every year.
but it's 1-2 months into the season.
Well, they used to do them 3 times a year, Nathan. Remember the soft resets? There was split
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3 in
Yep.
2023 and 4.
Exactly right.
They wouldn't be off the cards, but maybe that's why they're evaluating it. I don't know.
All right, the changes we're making.
We need more specific language because
agreed.
it's caused a rift in the podcast, and now
Yeah.
Nate, it's just 2v1 immediately.
Yeah.
So
And I don't want this podcast to be misinformation. All right, Curtis?
I think we need to speculate wildly and throw ideas around
All
and
right.
see what lands.
see what lands. The next thing here, the changes we're making. To reiterate, in the live rank system, the max LP attainable has a soft cap to prevent LP gains from getting too high. So I believe that was like typically around 1,500 or 2,000
Yeah,
LP.
somewhere around like
Yeah.
that, right? And so the way that would work, right, is that once you start to approach that kind of soft cap, you would get like, you wouldn't get much LP and you would lose a lot,
yeah.
essentially.
That's how like chess rating sort of works, right?
Yeah.
I remember seeing something like Magnus Carlsen or whatever is so high, it's not even worth for him to play. Because if he loses a game, he loses like 30
You can
or
lose
20
you can
and
win
he'll get
zero.
like 1.
You
Or
can
win 0. Yeah, he wins 0.
If you
Right.
matchmake into an opponent much lower than you, you'll win 0.
Yeah. So like,
Interesting.
what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yep.
It makes no sense. So to reiterate, in the live rank system, the max LP, is a soft cap. The closer you get to the top of the ladder, you need a higher and higher win rate to climb. For example, as a player gets closer and closer to the cap, their gains will approach plus 10, minus 30. We're going to remove this cap. So this is the big news. Removing this cap, which will unbound LP on the top end and result in the very best players being able to play and climb to pretty high LP values, plus 30, minus 10 LP until they start to reach where they should be. It will also make LP gains for the entire Apex ladder more stable, but LP cutoffs for Grandmaster and Challenger will also increase when players no longer have negative LP gains.
Is that it?
Next thing here, we expect most regions to reach peak LPs of around 3,000 and in some of the top end cases close to 4,000 LP.
So this is not like 4,000 LP encompassing the whole ladder. It's 4,000 LP after Master tier.
Yep.
And how many LP to get Master tier is it? Like 2,000 something?
Well, think about it, you have how many tiers do you have? Iron, bronze,
Iron, bronze,
silver, gold, platinum, emerald, diamond.
Times by 4.
is that
So
7
that's
times 4 is 2,800.
Yeah.
2,800? Okay.
So
So there'd be a whole ladder of 6,800,
LP.
which is huge.
Yep.
I mean, online chess is like 3,000 and something, 3,200 or whatever is the highest rank.
Yeah.
Right. So that's pretty mental.
A ladder of 6,800
Doesn't that make no
guys.
sense? So if the half, I might be jumping the gun on the comments here, but if half the ladder is, if the top, if Master to Challenger is a more LP range than
The
Iron to
entire-
Master,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
it's crazy.
Well, I've got some comments. Let's just finish the goddamn post so we
You
can
guys
actually
just
talk
wanted-
about it, honestly.
I like how I keep pausing and you think it's over, and then like,
Yeah.
well, the next thing.
You keep pausing for comment. I will give comment.
Yeah,
if you pause
exactly
for comment,
right.
I will
That's
give comment.
what I
That's my
want.
role on the show.
Just give me anxiety.
That's I
No,
want-
Nathan's doing a great job.
all right.
It's fear mongering the audience.
So, Grandmaster and Challenger are meant to be very difficult to achieve, and it's intended to be challenging to get there, in the same way that an Emerald player should look at Diamond and feel like it's going to be difficult to achieve. At the same time, we've heard your feedback that hitting these ranks feels too daunting and grindy, though there is an expectation that the peak ranks in a game are going to require more dedication to keep. We need to strike a good sweet spot here. And lastly, the future. What is the future? Us making climbing at Apex less daunting caused us to add Grandmaster several years ago, and we're nearing some of those feels now. The skill gaps in Apex are getting too big. In some regions also, the number of Grandmaster Challenger slots being too low for how big their region is also contributing to the cutoff being very high. EUS being a notable example. We might also reconsider the top end of how much LP you can gain per win, but need to be considerate on how much this incentivizes smurfing. Changes to systems like these are a natural part of League being a long-lived game and having growing player skills over time. Thank you for being patient with us as we fix all the things, and we'll continue to work to make the top of the ladder climbing experience the best it can be.
Okay. So,
You were always big, Curtis, of adding in more tiers.
yeah.
And it
definitely.
sounds like they may be thinking about adding another one between Master and Grandmaster. But imagine if it's 4,000 LP, 0 to 1,500 LP, you'll be like Master tier. 1,500 to 2,500 or something will be Grandmaster. And, 1,500 to like 3.5K. And then
Well, like
4K.
they should, like again at this rate, it would probably even make more sense to have one above Challenger, right? Where like you have like an elite, where it's like
Well,
you know,
people have been saying for years, right? The game's called League of Legends. It should be Legend.
like a legend tier at the end.
I haven't heard that
Legend
before. That
rank.
makes sense.
All
They
right.
should add 2 tiers then. They should have one between Master and GM and one above Challenger to span the entire 3,000 to 4,000 LP.
So one really interesting comment throughout that was he kind of mentioned Emerald to Diamond, right? The average person who's an Emerald, they look at Diamond and think, okay, that's going to be challenging. It's interesting because the average player who is in Emerald, who climbs to Diamond, is not going to have nearly the same experience going from Master to Grandmaster. You know what I mean? So like every single rank that you go up, right, going from, again, Emerald to Diamond and then Diamond to Master, it gets progressively harder.
Exponentially harder.
Exponentially
Correct.
harder. Yeah, that's a
Correct.
really good point, right? So like, in a way, that's not really well understood, I think,
No.
inside intuitively by the League community, whereby it's not obvious or apparent that your journey from Master to Grandmaster is going to be significantly harder.
Yeah.
So I think that's just first observation. But I want to kind of throw into the mix my hypothesis. I've been mulling over this topic all morning. Okay, so basically, let's just talk, just no bullshit. To get Challenger, you need kind of 2 things. Okay, you need to be consistently playing the game at a very high level. You need to be very good at the game and growing and developing. But the second thing is just you need just raw reps. Repetitions is a massive part of being a Challenger player. There's like no Challenger player that plays the game casually. They play a lot of the game, okay? Now, if we kind of expand this over time and we run this, like we've got this experiment that's been running over a decade now, where we've got players who at the highest levels have dedicated a lot of time to getting Challenger, so much so that it is their kind of livelihood, it is their career, or maybe even their side hustle, their hobby, such that they are incentivized to spend a metric ton of time playing the game, and they can spend a ton of time playing the game because they're literally getting financially rewarded for it as well, right? So basically what you've now got is you've kind of got Challenger players falling into 2 categories. You've got Challenger players that are like making a career out of it. They're making money from it. They're making content. They play so much solo queue. And you've got other Challenger players, I don't want to use AJ as an example, even me as an example, who just can't really put a ton of time into solo queue because it's just not where our attention is. We've got other responsibility to take care of. AJ works full time, right? And so now he busts his balls to get like, bottom of Chow was like 1,100 LP or something. But now he's looking at these other players. They're going to be getting to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 LP. There is no possible way that a player like AJ could ever compete with one of these other players just purely off reps. just purely off repetitions. So now it's interesting because obviously those people are going to be getting a lot more LP because you're playing a lot more of the game, but they're also just getting exponentially better at the game, again, because of those raw repetitions.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing is this massive skill gap occurring over time from the top of the server who are able to just put an immense amount of time into the game. And that's kind of now created this huge skill gap.
Do you think that this is just a thing in the 4 big servers? Does this even exist in other servers?
It wouldn't exist to the same degree. You're spot on.
Yeah.
In the major servers, yes, because there are more kind of major content creators, professional players, people who are
especially
kind of
like Europe, Korea, Challenge, and China.
Europe,
There's just like so many leagues.
China,
and
Korea, the big 4, right? The big 4, right, would be the case.
And the reason why in League you need to play a lot to get Challenger or even to maintain Challenger for people that don't, because they might be comparing to other sports, right? Even chess, for example. Well, I assume the reps in chess are still really important as well. But that's because the game gets patched every 2 weeks. And at the top level, these little changes, meta shifts, little tiny things, little items, these are massive difference in the results.
Also,
of
everyone
games.
gets getting better at the game. Everyone's getting better, and the goalposts keep moving. Like literally,
It's both, yeah.
Literally, the cutoff to Challenger goes the whole year goes up and up and up. So it's like it's like the chaser. You're chasing the bloody cutoff.
You got to improve at a particular rate to be a challenger player, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, because the goalposts are moving, and yeah, you are spot on there, Nathan. Because variables are getting added into the game and things are changing, you need to be able to understand those new variables, deal with those new variables, exploit those new variables, and then you're the one that's going to create the next best way of playing that game versus that champion, or maybe even with that champion. And so let's say you're someone that can't put a lot of time into the game, your interactions with that new element of the game is just limited. You just don't have as much experience. You don't have as much muscle memory. So, and all those little 1%ers, those 0.1%ers, the way that one particular skirmish plays out, the way that one thing changes is the difference in challenger games, right? That is a big difference. And I'm feeling it right now, right? For example, I haven't been able to play a lot of solo queue. Shyvana's got reworked. There's these changes in the game, and these games where like maybe other people have more experience with these champions, I'm reacting to these events. I'm having to figure them out in real time where they have all this experience. It's hard for me to keep up, right?
Yeah, and all it takes is a break for that to happen. Like what's happened for you is you decayed, right? Because you went away for a little bit. And then it's literally like just watching you. It's like back to square one.
Yep.
Literally relearning the game, and you would admit as such, right? It's like everything's everything's different. Everything feels weird. You gotta just like, even if not, like, it's not about the raw numbers as well. It's just like the feeling of the game, the pace, the tempo, like how things are interacting. That's what changes. That's what
League, there is this is incredibly difficult to articulate, but I'm sure many listeners and you guys understand this. It's like, there is this, when you're really playing your best League of Legends, you're completely in touch with the game. Like you know how the game should kind of play out. You kind of are in sync with the tempo of the game per se. Like, it's like you're hearing the music type thing. Like you know what's likely going to happen. You know the value of every single decision. Okay, well, if we lose that dragon, but they get that, you know intuitively what the higher, more impactful play is because of your repetitions, because of your pattern recognition. So there is just something to be said about League and repetitions, probably more so than any other endeavor. Let's use an interesting comparison here, right? Let's use Elisa Liu. Elisa Liu, right? Won gold at the Olympics. She was the world champion when she was like, super young. She took 3 years off from the sport, completely retired. And then I think it was within 11 months, won gold at the Olympics. Think about that in League of Legends. Imagine someone quitting the game for 3 years and then them being like the top of the ladder in solo queue. That would be literally impossible. It would not be physically possible for someone to take 3 years off the game and then become the best in the world. Think about that. That would be so far behind.
I'm trying to think of any pro players that have done this to some extent. Like Korean military service, people do take years off and come back. I can't think of any examples though.
I think Rush, but it's on the other direction. He was like an Elspeth.
That's a great point, actually. So Rush was the ranked 2 player in Korea, and then he obviously was a professional player in America.
He won MVP, I think.
He won MVP
in
and
the
then
LCS.
an MVP, and then he did his military service, and he came back and he was like D1 Masters here.
For a
And
long time.
For a long
I think
time.
still, I don't even know where he's at now.
There's got to
but
be
yeah.
other pro players that did that, and maybe did a bit better.
Yeah, if anyone knows of any
But
story,
yeah,
let us know.
you raise a good point. Like, it would just be impossible, dude. It'd be completely impossible.
You could obviously, like, that person in 11 months could get back to challenger. Right? I don't doubt that. If we're talking, let's use an example, right? Let's take Faker. Let's take Faker took 3 years off from the game. Okay. And he come back.
In a year, could he win Worlds again?
Yeah, could he be? Would he be the best player in the world in 11 months and win Worlds? No, I think that would be so unlikely. It'd be beyond.
You picked a weird example because it is Faker.
It is Faker.
Yeah, you never doubt Faker.
Yeah,
right?
everyone never doubt Faker,
Faker.
but you'd be pretty confident in betting that he wouldn't even get remotely close because of the gap. The game. Think about how much the game has changed in 3 years. How many champions have been added in 3 years?
Yeah.
The pace of the game, everything in 3 years.
Yeah.
The map's completely different, right? So,
Yeah, it's hard to even relate to that or think about it because obviously we've been playing the game since like season 2, whatever, and haven't really taken that big of a break. I don't know if either of you have, but the longest break I took was a month once.
I think I've taken a few months off before.
Yeah, I've taken a month off.
You've taken full months off. Yeah, well, you took heaps of time, and it ruined you, didn't it? When you took time off. That's you should talk about you, Nathan. Like, because you were like rank 2 season 3 or whatever. Season 4 still challenger. Season 5 still challenger.
And then like D4.
And then like literally diamond.
Literally
platinum,
low diamond.
Platinum.
Yeah, it was platinum.
Platinum.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, then
So that was
case in
a
point.
4-year break. Yeah.
A 4-year break. And it took you how long to get back to challenger?
It took me, so that came back 2018, 2019. It took me a year to get back to like master like 200, 300.
Yep.
And then about 2 years, 18 months Grandmaster. And then the next year after that, 2023, that was Challenger again. Yeah.
Think about that. Was that like 3-4 years?
4 years, 3-4 years.
And that's
ago,
just a
Challenger.
testament to how much the game had changed. And
That's
also
4 years.
how much like skill you lost and how different the game was. It's a different game when you came back, right? It was a completely different video game.
Yes, it was. I had to, completely learn the game.
But
from scratch.
it's also difficult mentally for you. I think it was not even about the skill.
Yeah, there was a lot of factors
lot of
for me.
other factors.
I like to say I'm a bit of a special case, but I never learned the game. I mean, back in season 3, season 4, no one really knew what they're doing, right? So
Maybe it'd be a bit different now because people who are like take Chovy for example, his understanding of the game is so fundamental.
I don't think anyone had a really good fundamental understanding of the game back in season 3, season 4.
But okay,
very gimmicky.
let's just think.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just thinking as a mid lane coach over the past 3 years in terms of the concepts that are getting taught. Yes, there are some concepts that are still going to be the same, right? Like no shit wave management and resets and tempo for the most part. But it's the priority. It's where you direct your attention.
It's killing the Nexus, right?
Killing the Nexus is very, 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 very different, and also playing the side lane.
Yeah.
Think about like the way minions spawn, like TP changes, towers.
I mean, the way mid laners play side lane now is just completely foreign.
So different. The
Even
way the
when
map
I was
is played.
when I was coaching professionally in 2018 or whatever, it was so unsophisticated
Yes.
the way people play mid lane, and we thought we were gods. We
Yeah.
thought we had perfect understanding of the game and everything. It's just like no one knew what they were doing. No one knew.
Or we
what they
look
were
back
doing.
at that and think it's obvious in hindsight, but you just don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
We will look back on this podcast now and think of the way the game is getting played, 3 years in the future.
Yeah.
Like, wow, we've this we're so
I
advanced.
swear we've got it down pat now. I swear to God. I'm really confident.
Yeah, you actually think that, don't you?
I do really think that.
Yeah, it's very
I
interesting.
think the game is very solved-y now.
Oh, but you can't say that because the game is changing.
Yeah,
That's the
I know
whole
it's
point,
changing.
right? That's the whole premise.
But like foundationally and fundamentally,
Yeah, sure.
I feel like we're close.
Maybe.
But maybe I'm completely off the mark of that one.
Classic jungler.
So it's funny because I was actually this last week, I've sort of been doing a bit of a data exercise on our members about, I've been sorting people into ranks, like people getting results in the academies. And I actually made a master 0 to 300 LP and a master 300 to 600 LP. I made 2 divisions.
That's how you categorize it.
Yeah, because they're just not the same value in terms of skill level. So yeah, I mean, they need more tiers flat out because you can't be, I hit master, and then you've got old mate Jimmy who's 1500 LP master, and then he's now
silly.
same as Mars, Timmy who just got into master.
Okay, so
tier.
the big concern, right, is that if someone gets into master tier and they look at the ladder and they're like, wow, the rank 1 player is 4000 LP,
Yeah.
right? is it so extreme? Is that just the way League of Legends is now because of the skill gap, and then we just have to suck it up, and then we just got to accept that literally is the difference in skill, and then we just slap on a bunch of different titles and ranks in there to obviously make that journey a little bit more satisfying, or are we saying that okay, well, that the perception of that is so overwhelming that it's just literally going to deter people, and they're not even going to bother trying, such that we need to again halt that LP.
But what I feel like is what Riot's done. If they sort of like made it like gamified it or whatever. Like think about even what it was back in our days. Like using the analogy of like a snake wrapping around its prey and restricting restrict the whole ladder.
I see what you mean.
So like it goes back to our good old days where you gain 10 or 5.
Oh, I remember.
Well, what happened is if you were D1,
you get +1,
plus two.
I remember
exactly right,
I lost my marbles. I was the top of D1.
Yeah.
I got +1, +2. And I was trying to get to the top, get to the promotions, and I lost 1 and went -25.
Yeah.
And I just lost my mind.
Yep.
And we just accepted it. There was no complaining. No one complained at that time. We just
it was brutal.
It was brutal.
But that's what I'm saying. Is it too like gamified like a cat? Like
and the challenger spots were 50 as well.
And that's why they had to do that.
That's why they did that.
That's why they
created
did that.
the bottleneck, the funnel.
the bottleneck.
You constrict it. So I'm a bit. I think he did mention that they might restrict it, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the cap. Yeah,
Well,
that's
they
what the
don't
cap
know.
is, right?
They don't know yet.
Well, if it goes to 3,000, that's still a cap.
It's still a cap, but like,
How is that facilitated?
well, because then the numbers look cooler.
So this is my point, right? I think that
What's the end game here?
okay, yeah, this is what I'm saying. I don't think there is a convenient solution because the skill gap is that big. I don't think there is like.
So you can't restrict the
Okay,
ladder.
so like,
Well, that's what he's saying then. They're going to increase the cap to reflect the skill cap.
Yes,
That's the.
I think that's it, and that's going to piss off some people, and it will be demoralizing. I want to use an example actually of tennis, right? Because you have like the top 3, and they're so far ahead. So like, if you were to use MMR in the tennis world, right? You got like what's his name? You got like Sinner and Alcaraz and stuff, right?
I think it's cool that way, actually, now that I think about it.
And they're like ranked 1,
There
2,
should
3,
be 4,000, 3,500, Sinner, 3,000, and then everyone else is like 2,000 or
So
1,500.
but obviously there is like a hidden MMR right there that we probably don't understand. There is an MMR there. I'm not an expert in the ATP system, but objectively, like Alcaraz or Senna, these players, the skill gap between 1 and 10 is like astronomical. But on the ladder, it's just like they're just 1 to 10.
It's like that in League as well. Like
it's like that in League.
No, but people use the LP more so in League.
That's the thing.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
If you look at our server, OS, because that's what we can compare it to, let's just look at my role 80 carry, right? Violet, Lost, and like probably just those two, if I'm being honest. I'm going to, here's I'll pray it a little bit maybe. Violet and Lost are just the top 2 80 carries by a fucking margin, I will say. And they should be like literally 1,000 LP above everyone else.
It should reflect in the LP is what you're saying.
But they're not. They're like 200 LP above everyone else,
Yeah.
So that's cool then. I like that.
I think I agree with like the system where it goes to 3K. But what it should be is it shouldn't be everyone gets pumped up. It should be the select few get pumped up. I want it to actually represent it better.
Yeah, so that's
what
where,
it will.
That's where you
Hopefully.
need to really make those games super challenging then, right? Obviously for those people. And this is where like again it ties back to our take is that duo queue just ruins it.
Well, that's what's happening at the moment in OS a little bit as well, is that Violet's duoing every single game.
Yeah.
So it does kind of inflate it and make it really silly. So you can't have the system and have duo.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't have this system and duo. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because in tennis, right?
What did he say about duo?
He said that they're quite happy with duo. They said they've fixed it up. Where is it?
See how the mic's over here.
I do understand that. Thank you.
What LP would Nathan be in mic handling?
I'll be Iron 4.
Iron 4.
Nah,
you'd be like silver.
Yeah,
silver.
Yeah. But in tennis, right, you don't have the doubles in the same system
course
as the
not.
singles.
It's
You know what I mean?
silly.
Yeah, if we want to get serious about Apex, the conversation needs to be back to
Yeah,
Roto
because
duo.
What about if Alcaraz could duo Sinner and just climb to 10K LP?
It would be so stupid.
Yeah, that's right.
Because actually think about this, right? I feel like, like you said there, Nathan, we're having like this conversation about like restricting the ladder and kind of gamifying it, all this shit. And like they want a more competitive system and you want duo queue.
Yeah.
So like you've just randomly thrown this for fun thing in the mix while also wanting a competitive ladder. This is what I'm saying. Like Riot need to fucking put their foot down at some point.
This is we like to shill for Riot quite a lot on this podcast, but I will say they're a bit people pleasy a lot of the time. they want to have their cake and eat it and take some home and give some to their mum and bring some to school the next day. It's quite mental. They want to have ranks that are achievable but difficult to get to, but also look cool but are really competitive
And
but are
meaningful.
also fine. And also duo but also very competitive. And a LP system that like it represents a skill group
keeps
but not
everyone
too
happy.
high. But you can't.
You can't do that. You're going to have to make a decision. What's important? What aligns with Riot's values?
Yeah.
That's what they need to make the decision on. Because
Yeah.
going on Twitter and talking to all these, people on Twitter is not where you're going to get
No.
the answer.
No.
Because you're just going to get contradicting opinions 24/7.
I mean, their goal should be and is, I imagine, to get the most people playing League of Legends as possible.
Yep.
So that they can keep their company running as healthily as possible, right?
What it sounds like is they don't know how that's possible though, because what it looks like, we're just looking at the actions,
Yeah.
is they're trying to keep the Halo streamer
yeah.
people happy, right? Because these and then but also
They must have data on that having a permeating
Exactly
ripple
right.
effect on the community.
Exactly
But
right.
by making them happy, you're also making the community that are getting the ripple effect on upset.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
You got this weird balance. You got the people who like follow these streamers and only play because of the streamers and blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
and the people who don't. And then you're making one crowd happy. You're pissing
But the
off the
streamers
other.
are a vocal minority, but they're a powerful vocal
They
minority.
are powerful. Yeah.
I don't envy this person's job.
Yeah. Foxcon's got the hardest job in the world. We said that when we met him. Like your job is so hard. It's an impossible job.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know.
I've got no answer.
Yeah, we've got no answers. We just
As
it's
per
been a complete
fucking usual.
circle jerk conversation.
Yeah. Let's read a post, have a bit of a
All right.
circular conversation, and then on to the next one.
I'm more confused actually, leaving this conversation.
As they say, keep your eyes peeled. You know, what do they say when you need to keep following the story? Like a story's developing and you need to like
It's
stay connected.
Yep. We'll keep our finger on the pulse. That one.
There's another one as well, but Charles, I was hoping you could give me the answer, Charles. You're just failing.
I don't know what you're on about.
I love looking at you confused.
You look at me, you
are.
misquote something, and I'm meant to fucking like connect the
Correct.
dots in my brain and then say the correct response. I'm like Google Translate, but I don't know what you're on about. So
And moving
All right.
on.
So back to Challenger. This
Yep.
is just a high elo apex
Elitist
tier.
podcast.
well, now we're
elitist
talking about Challenger.
episode.
How do you get Challenger, Nathan?
Yeah, now
Here
we're
are
gonna-
some opinions. What's
Yes.
this? What are we looking at? Who made this?
So we've got a video here that was made by Bok. The title of this video is I asked 30 Challenger players how to actually climb in solo queue. Video has 17,000 views. It's getting some momentum.
Linked below.
I like how the little description here is, it'll be linked below in the description. His description in the video is most players are focusing on the wrong things.
Okay.
So what we've done is basically compiled 5 of the pieces of advice from each role. Okay, and we're going to read through some of these pieces of advice. Like you said, Charles, the video is linked in the description. Check it out. It's a great video, great concept. And then we'll just riff on it. So what do you guys want to do? Do you want to react per?
Yep, let's react per
Let's
one.
go one by one.
One by one.
And
All
if it takes an hour, we'll just stop
Yeah.
at some point.
All right.
All right, so the first one here comes from a player called Music, Challenger 1200 LB. Jungle role. Reviewing your own game / deaths. That's the advice. Most deaths are avoidable if you review because dying is technically the biggest mistake you can do. For me, it was understanding that I was a noob and watching videos / streams helped me improve a lot. Facilitating concepts that I didn't know from stuff into my games helped. So the age-old advice of stop dying.
Review your deaths.
Review your deaths.
Yeah.
I mean, I prefer review your deaths and stop dying. I like that.
Yeah. It's
Deaths can teach you a lot, but remember, we don't like. There's a school course that we have where Curtis made a beautiful video about how to review deaths because it's not as simple as die equals bad, remove death equals good. It's like the deaths are an indicator that something is missing in your play. So you use the death as like an X marks a spot in the VOD to go find out what actually happened. That's how you really review from deaths.
yeah. I think a lot of people have a terrible relationship with reviewing deaths.
Yes.
Like people don't like doing it. They
Yes.
feel like it's a waste of time. Like because when I talk to people who say that, their response is always, I feel like I know why I died.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, no shit. That's what they think, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
It's like obvious. I got hit by the Lux cue.
Yeah.
Or like, because they're like, okay, I don't need to hear that. I know. Let's focus on the cooler things.
Yeah,
What are the
totally.
concepts that I'm missing?
What
or
about the
whatever?
Nash at 32
Yeah,
minutes?
what about that barrier? That barrier right at 32 minutes where our jungle would outsmite it. That was the reason we lost this game.
Yeah, what about my Aurelion Soul not swapping lanes with me?
Yeah, no, that's without exaggeration. That's what's
So it's funny, like the review your deaths, everyone knows it. Even these challenger players are saying, but no one will actually follow it. No one actually
Okay,
follows it.
to give people the benefit
Or
of the
not
doubt.
so much follow, like, then people don't review a number
They
two.
don't take it seriously.
They don't understand how much you can take away from a death.
Yeah. Like Charles said, it's not you don't just look at it and be like, yep, I've done it. Great. And X marks the spot. I've won. I've got, give me the treasure. You got to actually kind of deconstruct it, right? And the deconstructing it is the tough bit.
Charles, talk about your death on that Lee Sin that lost you the game.
Oh, yeah. That was a tragedy. I mean, we've been playing a lot of solo queue recently, me and Nathan, and like every game is just like the end of review moment is a death. How is it not? It usually is, right?
Yep.
No, but I want you to talk about how you broke that death down, how everyone else would break it down. So, So
Paint the picture. What was happening
I want to
again?
paint the picture. So you
Why am I playing Lee Sin in solo queue again?
People listen to this podcast and
Guys,
Charlie has every game for the
look
game.
at my account. It's Smolder and Yunara, and we're focusing on a Lee Sin game for some reason. Okay.
because it was interesting.
Yeah, so I was 4-0-3 in this Lee Sin game.
You want to
having
get your second item, Sun and
having a
Sky.
pop-off early game,
Yeah.
right? I was smurfing the game, holding my team together.
You're at least in main right.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Highest mastery. Unironically. Yeah, I had like 1,300 gold in my inventory and some components. I was 300 gold at my Sun to Sky. So I was on my wrap. We won a fight. And then I'm like, okay, all I need to do now is farm a couple of hundred gold, base on my Sun to Sky, deploy out, play for the next objective. The game is very simple.
Super simple plan. You were saying that to yourself 100 times.
Yeah, my plan was good. It was a very high level plan, very, very simple but elegant plan. I start doing my clear towards the bot side. I get to my Gromp. It had been stolen. It was gone. So I'm like, shit, my plan is ruined.
I need 100 more gold.
I need 100 gold. So
Crab.
I go to the crab. The crab's up. I start doing the crab. Awesome. I finish the crab. As I'm finishing the crab, it's like 500 HP or whatever. I pan my camera mid, and I see my 80 caught on the mid wave, getting attacked, right? And
team fight's brewing.
team fight brews. Everyone gets involved. It's a scrap, blood flying everywhere. It's mess, chaos, right? So what do? Obviously, I'm 4-0-3 Lee Sin. I run to the fight. I'm coming, guys. I'm going to help. I W in, insta-die, chain CC.
Just one shots.
Riven like W flashes me or something. I just die. Aced, lose the mid T2, lose tempo, camps like obliterated. I'm just done. The game's over. We literally lose the game off that play. But then we were looking at it in the review. I was looking at it with Nathan, and
You look at all the other options if you let your team die.
all the options, like what would happen, and the mindset change. It wasn't anything wrong with like the specifics. It was all the mindset, being comfortable letting my team die there, and then exploring the options. And Nathan's like, okay, cool. If you just let your team die, it doesn't matter. Nothing happens if they die really bad for the game. Maybe you lose mid tier 1 or whatever. Base, go push top lane. That'll create a tempo advantage that I can then use to do something else later. And that's such a juicy learning that isn't just like, why did I fight with 1,600 gold in my pocket, you know? So you can use the death to really get something valuable.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love that. I was watching a review, doing my review, coaching the coaches thing in the WTL, and I was looking at a review from Marishko. And Marishko was going over this instance where this Yunara player was kind of going for this all-in into a Samira. And they died, they lost this 2v2. And kind of, you can see how this player was automatically kind of looking at it primarily through a micro lens. And Marishko did a really good job. Like, you could have done this, you could have done that, and looked at it through the micro lens. But then, like, Marishko was kind of mentioning, like, bigger picture. Why are we really taking this fight? Like, you're fighting into Samira's spike. She's stronger than you. You're doing a really good job. And there was all these reasons as to why we probably shouldn't have been looking for this 2v2. And so, again, it's kind of similar to what you said there. It's like, okay, maybe there is a mechanical execution element, right? Maybe there is a threat assessment element, and we can take from that. But their actual root learning there was you had the wrong mindset at this stage of the game.
Yes.
As a Yunara, your mindset should have been, I'm chilling. I've got a free lane. All I got to do is get this next recall off. I can work towards my second, third item. I'm gonna be scaled beautifully into the mid game.
Stage 2, stage 3.
Yeah, it's more of a stage 3 thing for this person. So it wasn't anything to do with threat assessment per se. It wasn't really anything to do with ability usage. The main juicy learning was like reference points, understanding when you're strong, when you're weak, and the mindset that Yunara should have been into that stage of the game. And so, again, the death was the indicator, right? It was the place that we went to and he reviewed, but the way he deconstructed that using that macro framework was what allowed that master tier player or diamond player to kind of get value from that death.
Yep.
Right. And so again, this we're referencing that course in our Skool community. We've got a great course about how to break down deaths. But I think that's why people struggle. It's not that they can't identify it. It's just that they don't know how to deconstruct it. They're not curious enough.
Yeah. I will say as well, we're only going over 5 of these, but I reckon a large portion of these 30 or so ones in that video are talking about deaths.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that people climb to challenge reviewing their deaths.
Yeah.
And the importance of it. Because people say it's lazy advice, and sometimes it can be like tossed aside, like, oh, you're dying too much. But there is like, if you go a level deeper, it's the best thing we can be doing.
But you know why lazy? Because
people don't like hearing it. Or
no,
like,
because it's this funny concept. Because League has been around for so long.
yeah.
You know, all the advice is like there and it's all done, but like everyone wants the new stuff. Or what they've done is they've heard that they've like tried to review some deaths. It didn't really work. It's like, oh fuck it, what's the next advice or whatever. So it's sort of like
it's cliche, but it's true.
True, correct.
Yeah.
And people don't like, for some reason, cliche.
No,
the human brain doesn't
I
like
know
it.
what you're saying,
You see what I'm
yeah.
saying?
No, because I literally, so one more example. I played a game before as Talia. I made one mistake. I moved into the river when I shouldn't. I died and we lost the game off of it.
Yeah.
Just straight up. I'm not confused.
Yeah,
This is the reality.
but you wouldn't view it that way, but the other Talia players playing that wouldn't view it that way. Same with that Lee Sin.
Yeah.
Then what they'll do is they'll review, like, they hear the challenger player and they'll be like, oh, I just got to review my next 3-4 deaths. And that's actually some of our advice that we give to people. We just review your first couple of 3 deaths, which is really good baseline. But especially the higher you go, deaths are just so punishing.
I think what it is as well is like, it's human nature to hear that advice and be like, okay, well, but
heard
everyone dies. How do I win anyway?
Yeah.
You know, that's what people think. It's like,
Yeah.
it's so hard to just not die. How can I win? You know, how do I win anyway?
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Very fascinating. I love the League of Legends community sometimes. All right, next one here comes from Bio V2, Challenger 1200 LP.
What role?
Jungle.
Do you want to go role by role so we don't?
Yes.
Yeah, this is all junglers first.
Okay.
Yeah, I've sorted them by role.
I don't know if you're wanting to climb. I don't know. Oh, sorry, it says, I don't know. If you're wanting to climb, I think one tricking is the best way to do it. It helped me, for example. I used to watch Tomio and Scrub Noob when I was Diamond, and that helped me hit Challenger. Just one trick in Rengar. Also, taking responsibility for almost every solo queue game you play and not constantly blaming your team will help you climb 20 times. Lose is improve or some shit.
I love how that answer started with I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. If I can one trick a champ, take responsibility, I guess. Lose is improve. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Great advice.
great advice.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of scrappy, but it's true.
Yep.
You got to take max accountability, and that's easier said than done, right? A lot of people kind of understand that in theory.
Yep.
But then they go into the game and they say, "But look at my bot lane; they just got shit on." Right?
I love
the
how
thing.
simple that advice sounds, but how fucking hard it is to do.
It's so hard.
It's like, guys, limit yourself to a small champion pool and take accountability for every game.
And watch better players play the
and
game
try and replicate
be
what better
curious
players
and
do.
yeah, and, yeah.
There's a lot of subtext there.
It's a lot of subtext.
Yeah, but awesome.
Next one here comes from U13, again, Jungle. Challenger 1772 LP. He starts off with, all right. So he's getting, I don't know, he says, all right,
Rubbing his hands
sit
together.
down, kiddies. I think the best way to climb is only playing 2 to 3 champions. Team composition doesn't matter much in those ELO, except like maybe an AP AD damage distribution, but even then, not that much. So like, have an AP and AD champ and +1. Focus on mastering their champs first, and then once they have that foundation, they can build on it by start learning the game. Once you play a champ/role a lot, there should be a sense of what feels good and what doesn't. Find what feels good to do and try to make it formulaic so that you can replicate it. I think this advice sucks.
Really? I
How
thought it
so?
was-
What do you like
what do
about
you
it?
what do you
Because
like about
the
it?
2 to 3 champions thing is not... I think it's like half a measure of half-assing the whole one trick thing. So you either one trick or you what we call champ pool cycle, because people think 2, 3 champions, I have to pick those and then they go. So that means you're trying to be more of a complete player. But, I'm thinking of, someone that, let's say, plays Kindred and Talon, but then suddenly, Kha'Zix and Talon. And then assassin items get really hit or whatever it is, or just doesn't feel good. And then do you just keep sticking to those champions, brute force? People have so many questions and so many and the answer actually could be fine. You could absolutely still make that work and still climb for sure. It might be a little bit harder, but it's just not realistic
At
for
that point,
someone's
you might as well OTP.
journey. Yes.
Yeah, I see what
you
you
see what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's unless your 2 to 3 champions are very, very like meta resistant,
Yeah.
then
you definitely don't want to stick to 2 to 3 items indefinitely.
2 to 3
champions.
champions.
Not the same. Sorry.
Yeah.
Items. Yeah, stick to the same 2 to 3 champions.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're saying, right?
That's right.
You should play a different set of 2 to 3 champions, and it depends on the rank, right? If you're like, I mean, this might differ per role. Tell me if you tell people differently for jungle, Nathan. But if they're bronze and below, then they should cycle generally one champ. And then like bronze to gold, like no, probably like bronze to emerald-ish, like 2 champions, and then cycle one out, whatever.
Yeah.
And then emerald plus, you can do 2, 3 more. But
this is
usually
where, you would have to go levels deeper because everyone, I always, everyone says the whole 2-3 champion limit champion, when everyone knows it. When I talk to people,
yeah,
they just can't do it. So because there's so many narratives around like, I'm not feeling with that champ, or that champ's weak. Like, it's just bad. The whole limited champion pool advice is just a bit outdated. It just doesn't work because you need to get into the weeds like what we do on the podcast, why people can't stick with champions.
The pool has to make sense.
Yeah.
Right. To have a pool, every single champion in that pool has to make sense. You have to know when you're picking it, why you're picking it, and then how it interacts with the meta. And you got to know, okay, if I am going to swap this champion out, what am I looking for? Like, yeah,
not have too much complexity in the pool as well.
Exactly right. There's a lot of nuance. So you are right. Like, it is objectively correct what he's saying, but it's lacking so much substance that it's borderline like incorrect. In a way.
So what I would
That's
like
you
to
mean.
hear from you is how he was possibly able to stick to 2 to 3 champions.
Unless it's like, again, an example of what would be an example of like a super meta resilient jungle pool of like 2 champions or 3 champions.
Does that even exist for jungle?
Like
Like jungle changes more than every other role.
Jarvan, I
since the
swear to
season.
God, like surely Jarvan or Xin could like be played no matter what.
Nah, they can't. Xin Zhao's had a lot of rough patches. I don't
Does that
like
matter?
it. Yeah, it does.
Nathan, talk in the mic.
I know.
He's hungover or something. Yeah, because if it's 80 carry, dude, I could just tell you, you could play bloody
Jungle's-
Jinx and Sivir
Yeah.
as a pair, and you'd be golden.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way Violet if Violet had a champion pool of like
Yeah.
Sivir.
Even like
and
Jinx Yara or something.
Jinx
you know?
Yara, like
Yeah.
if the meta changes,
Yeah, it's fine.
He's gonna be fine.
It's fine, dude.
Same as like the best players. If they played Orianna and Ari,
Yeah, there you
no
go.
matter what, you could get to Challenger every season.
Yeah. Jungle, you just rock up one day. You take a break. You take a break for 3 months.
Jungle
you rock
is a
up,
bit different.
You
I
rock
do
up one
agree.
day. You got Zehen and Ambessa now. Like,
True.
It's like,
It is
it's like
true.
you get back to your house after work, you open the door, and you're in like a different fucking planet. Like your kitchen's fucking upside down.
No, that is true. I think you are right.
Junglers
Jungle
lose
is a
their
bit
minds with
weird in a
Chample.
way,
They
right? Because
lose their
how is it
minds.
possible that we go through a meta where you have like Talon jungle and then another one where it's like Sejuani? It's like
Yeah, Zion
what the-
jungle. Every new champ's a jungle.
and it's not even the archetype of the champ; it's the way you play them. It's like these champs are like,
Yep.
you just full clear or whatever. You're in a meta where like you got to full clear a lot and clear camps. Another meta, it's like you can maybe be like the jungle time has changed.
And
and-
Skarn is OP. We're level 3 ganking.
Yeah, like,
Graves is
the
OP.
game
we're
changes
fucking
so much in
invading
jungle.
Gromp.
yeah, people lose their minds for champions.
Okay, let's just move away from the champ pool thing.
Alright.
What he was trying to say though, I think he was saying is like find like a way to like kind of formularize or something.
Well, no, what he said here is exactly our philosophy, by the way.
Reference point, right?
Focus on mastering your champion first.
Yeah.
Then you learn the game.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
And then he also said like find your rhythm or find something. What did he say specifically? He said something like find the form.
Find what feels good and then try and make it a formula. so
Yeah,
you can
because that's
replicate
reference points in a way. Where it's like, okay, what is working, but why is it working?
Yeah.
And that's actually practically what like I did back in the day. It's like, okay, what am I doing that's working? I'm going to play. I'm winning all these games. Why am I winning these games? And then you break it down. It's like, oh, I can replicate this. I want to look for these spikes. I'm strong. I want these sorts of fights. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I had to say this was terrible advice at the beginning, so it didn't look like we were agreeing with everyone. It's
Understood.
fantastic advice.
It is good advice, just not
The
worded
first part.
great.
Yeah, the first part, you know.
Should we be done with jungle, by the way? We've taken.
No, let's
Keep
keep
going.
going.
Spam them all. Whatever.
Next one here comes from Shimmer. The title of this one is Challenger. I'll read a Mailbag episode. It's my muscle memory. Challenger 1494 LP. 2 things really helped me climb. Number 1, narrowing my champ pool to 2 to 3 champs that I'm very proficient on. Can 1v9 on these champs and know almost all my matchups. Number 2, wasting time to BM, to badmouth. When I was Masters, I would spam, dance, or emotes a lot. It's a stupid habit, but getting rid of that saved me like 15 to 30 seconds each game.
Mental.
Your time is super important. Don't waste it doing dumb stuff.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
No one's gonna relate to that. I
no,
don't
just
think.
move
No.
on. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
things like type it in the chat, guys. It's not, it's
Yeah.
not helpful. I mean, let's say even if you didn't waste any time in a game typing in chat, your focus,
The mindset, I think,
the
really.
focus
By the way,
shifts.
okay, I will actually point something out that I'm doing recently. So I'm like pushing in solo queue at the moment. I'm like 400 LP, and I've climbed like a couple of hundred LP in the past like week or two. And instead of muting every game, I've done the thing where you go and put the party chat on. It's actually so much better. I don't know why I haven't done this.
Is that so you can't physically type? Is impossible.
type.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't type at
I
all.
can't see. I don't have to type mute all. or
Yeah,
anything.
that's what people
Sometimes
do
I
with
would
party
forget.
chat. Yeah.
But that means you can't. Yeah, you can't type.
Can't type.
Yeah, I mean, I did a discussion in the school community about this.
Yeah.
I like being able to chat.
When I play AD,
Into the
I
depth.
don't really care about
Right.
typing.
Yeah.
It makes me ping more accurately.
Yeah, I
as
do
well.
think that is good advice though for 90% of the league community.
Yeah.
But at least for me, there are scenarios where like I want to just say like play fight slow, peel me or something like that. Like or stop diving, place whatever. Like sometimes there's these key things. I don't know if it's maybe it's a placebo effect.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe I think it's working.
I've
but
had the urge
hover
to
me
do stuff
inside
like
or
that
something.
before. Like during the climb, I had the urge to like turn it off, type something, turn it back on. I haven't done it, but it hasn't really affected
it doesn't
anything,
happen that
honestly.
often. It's so rare.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, anyway.
All right, next one here comes from Marco Polio. Grandmaster 809 LP. He starts off the
Email.
email saying, the most impactful thing that got me out of high elo was something I call a spear method. I got really good at one thing. So I played one champion in one role and focused on one thing I would do really well. So for me, I played Master Yi only in jungle and focused on mechanics at the time. That and the thing that kept me going is that if you show up every single day, even if it's just one game, you'll outpace and outclimb everyone else if you give it enough time and are patient.
I like that. Consistency. That's
Yep.
awesome.
That's the theme of the last episode,
The
podcast
Ishan
episode.
mindset.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where
Cool.
people aren't consistent, so they don't get results.
Yep.
Yeah, well, everyone just gets distracted.
People go to Italy for a
Yeah.
month.
3 weeks, yeah. See
They
you
play
later.
the game for three weeks. See you later for 3 weeks. Come back maybe another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
To no fault of their own as well. People's lives.
No, people have lives for sure, but again, sort of just making realistic expectations to people.
No, but I do think when we're talking about challenger here, like in a way, like if you're a challenger player, that is a commitment.
Oh yeah,
Of
for
course,
sure.
yeah.
Right? You don't really have a normal life as a challenger player, in my opinion. Like
Your
don't-
life sort of becomes a game. You're
yeah,
getting content.
you're always
talking to
thinking about the
people.
game.
Yeah.
You have to
right?
be.
You have to be
You have
to
to
be a
be.
challenger player. That's just it.
All right, moving on to mid lane now. This one comes from Emil, Challenger 891 LP. Says probably to focus on having 8 CS per minute and most importantly, not dying. Since these two factors combined would just put me ahead of the curve in most games and carrying would be way easier for that position. It's what I still live by. 8 CS per minute. 8 CS per minute, Curtis.
Yeah, I mean-
you didn't say 10 CS per minute. Interesting.
Well, nowadays, 8 CS per minute is low because
Yeah,
there's more
'cause there's
minions.
more minions,
So you
yeah.
can go above 10 CS per minute a lot of the time. But anyway, that aside, again, it's one of those pieces of advice that, it's, you can see that they mean well, but it's
Get
just,
farm and don't die.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, is it really that useful? No, it's not
I just
gonna-
think that farm is just another indicator. It's like if you have low farm going into the mid game, we need to go and find
Yep.
out why. What's happening? Are you being forced to base because you're taking shit trades?
Yep.
Are you mismanaging your wave and it's making it hard for you to CS? The CS is merely it's an output, not an input like deaths.
Yep, well said.
Next one here is Challenger 1500 LP from Ciroine. Ciro. I would say the best way to climb is actually not really game related. The time when I improved the most and climbed the most is when I started to take these things seriously. So you know how a lot of people think video games are just like a joke. So they just play around, crack open their beers. Didn't actually say that, but that's what we like to say. But for me, I treated it as like one of my college subjects where I put a lot of effort in learning and like studying the game and actually trying to be better at the game with the right attitude. Although sometimes I also get tilted in solo queue and be immature, I think the most important thing to climb is unironically not just about the game part, but it's actually about your mentality and mindset that you have.
It's funny to use a college example because I would say that most people just piss away their college studies as well. It's their uni in our case, yeah. Yeah, 100% agree.
Yes, your attitude, right? Your attitude goes a long way.
Yep.
Your attitude sort of, this is what I like, more high level advice.
Mm.
Because all that whole death
Yeah.
and stuff, like you're never going to take that death seriously
You're gonna
unless
just,
you have the right mindset.
because
It's a
again,
prerequisite.
well, you can say, okay, you got to review your deaths, but if you
Not
didn't
my
have the
fault.
resource of how to review your deaths, it's literally useless information.
Yeah.
Right. So But whereas the mindset advice, yeah, it's a little bit more practical for the average person if
Yep.
they don't have access to those resources.
Yeah, view climbing in the game as a skill that requires effort and attention before anything else.
It's a mindset.
Yep.
Eric the Boogs.
Next up here is Challenger 1300 LP, mid laner Sir Zepre. I feel like for me, the biggest tip I would give a lower level player would be to focus on getting CS, making sure they work towards. Oh,
So
God. It's the
sorry.
Red Bulls, man.
I can't
Honestly,
believe
I'm gassy.
Can't believe it.
Making sure they work towards being able to consistently not miss last hits. The other big thing for me, which is applicable even up to Challenger Elo, just focus on your game, what you can do better and your own mistakes. Whenever a play goes wrong, being able to find a mistake you made and what you as an individual can do better is going to lead to more long-term growth. Basically, TLDR, farm better and focus on yourself.
Just on the farming topic, I think a better way to frame it is literally kind of just value your farm.
That's a good point.
Because it's a mindset. Like
I imagine the Akshan guy that we reviewed in
Yeah.
like 2023 or whatever, who was running around the map like a loon. Like, don't do that.
Yeah. It's a mindset. It's like if you value farm, you think farm is very important, then you're going to put more attention. Your mental stack is going to be allocated towards it. You're going to maybe land more farm. You're going to say no to more plays, knowing that you're going to miss farm. That is the practical advice there. Again,
Yes.
if you're going to, peel back the layers, that's really what needs to be said.
I agree, because that's not necessarily intuitive, because there's a lot
No.
on the screen.
'Cause
Sometimes
you think kills are more important, right?
Yeah.
Kills and towers and kills and, whereas
But
farm
I'm
is...
addicted to farm.
Yes,
To a
you need to be
detriment
addicted to farm,
sometimes.
yeah.
I'll be like following up on a play. There'll be a minion dying behind me. I'll just fucking shoot
Well,
him
that's-
while they run to the
Well,
play.
actually, no, you can say one thing definitively about every single challenger player
Yeah.
is they're obsessed about resources. They're obsessed
Yes.
about farm.
They understand that's the game.
And-
That's
and
the economy.
There is not a single challenger player that wouldn't be obsessed about resources.
Yes, the players that even in Challenger games and stuff that, like, the master tier players and stuff that you play with, they have it, but then they lose it in the game.
They get
have that mindset, they
distracted.
get distracted. And
The
then
classic thing, they stop farming in the mid game.
Yeah, or they just get baited by too many fights. But
Yeah.
you verse a challenger player and they're just their resource collection, they're just stronger than everyone else. They have
They're
more
stronger.
items.
Yep.
They're
They're
it's
so much more
insane.
poised because they know that they have confidence that again,
Even if there's chaos, they know they fall back to resources.
Yeah, watching I've watched like a tiny bit of Aloysius 80 carry climb at the moment, because he's doing he's trying to get to GM on 80 carry, which I think he'll do pretty effortlessly if I'm being honest. Yeah, he's just strong every single game.
He's getting far.
he knows how to farm.
Yeah, he's like 12 CS per minute every game on like Smolder or Corky or something, and then he's just a raid boss in every game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's going to carry you in
Yep.
a huge way.
If you know how to pilot your champ with the economy.
Assuming you have champion mastery.
Because again, I'm not to go too deep on this, but like other YouTube video channels that may be popular and produce tier lists often tell people to get really strong and like ditch your team and go farm in sideways and like just pump your economy. There's more to the game than pumping your economy. You don't want to do it to a detriment, obviously.
Farming well, especially in mid game,
Yeah.
is an incredibly multifaceted skill.
Yeah.
Right? Your lane assignments has to be correct. You have to understand when to group and when to split based off your map awareness. You have to have map awareness. You have to understand what to do with the wave when you get there. Do you slow build it? Do you hard shove it?
Yeah.
How many waves do you save for? Do you reset? Do you stay on the map? When is it worth it sometimes to skip a wave to be at a pivotal fight for a neutral objective? There's so many things that go into
Because
that.
what people, especially for jungle, people always think that it's binary. It's either resources or play for team.
Yeah.
But the best players are able to do both
Yes.
because they understand they're so fast and they know what to prioritize, they know what's next, and they know when those little moments to skip camps and then like, okay, I can go to that play and I can go take their camps or whatever like that. So yeah, so that's the big thing that people just say farm more. Like if I'm a jungler and I just keep full clean my jungle the entire game,
Yeah.
I actually won't end up with high farm. And actually I will probably most likely lose that game.
Right.
You can do that for the first couple of clears, but once you get to the mid game, it's the mid game everyone falls apart with the farm.
Yep.
So yeah, so that's what people just get tricked by. Like as you said, those videos that you're talking about, Charles, they think it's just binary. I'm a farm player. I'll let my team die. You can be high impact and you can have high farm.
So
Those
I
things
want us to
exist.
say high level, like as we're going through this, what we're seeing as a theme is that 90% of this advice is as completely non-actionable.
It's non-sophisticated.
It's non-sophisticated. And look, this is not...
I think the format, the way, like, I think this guy just added people's like, hey, can you give me some
exactly
advice? And some
right.
guy's like, fuck it, here we go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Just wake up,
exactly.
look at
I'm
their
not saying
phone.
it's the fault. It's not the fault of these challenger players. Right? They're just responding in a casual manner.
Yeah.
Right. So the reality is that it's not like they're trying to coach someone.
No.
So, but just high level, you know, when you're giving advice to someone, there's not much you're going to be able to say in 2 or 3 sentences that's going to make a meaningful difference in someone's client.
I think it also links to the video that you just made that's posted on your channel, Curtis, about like, just because you are a high level player, it doesn't mean you know how to teach the game, right?
Yeah, and that is an incredibly tough pill for a lot of people to hear and swallow. Like, you know, the reality is that, just because you are good at something doesn't mean you know how to teach it. And teaching is a skill, knowing how to prioritize. A lot of people, I would say actually upwards of 85 to 90% of people who get Challenger, even to this day, couldn't really explicitly tell you how they did it.
Yep.
They'll give you rough, broad strokes, but all the things that were going on in their mind are so unique to them and so intuitive, and so they've just dialed in their own particular process. They could write it down if you really probed them and asked hundreds of questions and you really, you know, laid it all out, sure. But like, no one does that.
Yeah.
Because why would they? They're not incentivized to do that. They don't give a shit. They just want to play the game and get good at the game. So again, if you're interested in that topic, I've got a video on my YouTube channel that you can check out.
So next one here comes.
Sorry, one more thing about the video as a whole, the coaching, because I did watch the video. The guy that made this is a coach, right? And I assume he's not like a challenger player, because he said he was making jokes throughout the video, like, oh, like instead of asking like fraud coaches how to climb, you should just ask challenger players how to climb.
Right.
And it's like, well, yes and no. Why not just get a challenger player who can also be trained as a coach? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
And that's kind of our philosophy with our coaches, right? We don't have anyone who's like below like master GM peak at least, and then we have multiple challenger coaches who are also trained at the craft of coaching, which is, it's just, again, it's disrespected on some ends, right? There's there's coaches who have never touched like diamond in their lives who are trying to teach people how to climb. And then there's challenger players who don't know how to coach that are teaching people how to climb. But there's very few challenger players that are trained how to coach.
Very few.
We've tried to acquire them and
we're
put them in one place.
We're in the process of developing them.
Yes.
Again, another quick aside here I found interesting. If I were to say, let's say, my brother, I had a younger brother who'd never touched League before.
Little Timmy.
And little Timmy wants to get better at the game. But I couldn't help him, right? And then I could get anyone I wanted. I could get any challenger player. I could get anyone. And then I had to make a decision between a master tier, let's say 100 LP master tier coach, but an actual one who's trained as a coach. Like I know he's trained as a coach, like high quality, understands the coaching crafts, has been coaching for a while. Got results. And then a challenger player, let's say a literally like rank 2, rank 1 level, like literally one of the best players in the entire server on one of the major servers. Who would I get? I would get the 100 LP master tier player 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I don't think that even changes across disciplines, by the way. Yeah. It's like, who's going to be better at teaching you piano, like a professional concert pianist or a piano teacher who's taught thousands of students?
Yeah, but it's so crazy that we even have to say that. You know what I mean? And that's what in my video, I'm like, why do I even have to say that? Why do we have to say in this industry that coaching is a craft, is a skill?
Because
it's nuts.
Becoming a pianist, or what's it? Pianist, like, you know, and like, you know, the best
in the world.
Yeah.
Is way harder than getting to rank 2 challenger.
What?
That's what people
that's
think.
The consensus.
Yeah.
Oh,
I see.
That's the consensus.
But they're actually the exact same.
Yeah, the societal stigma is that,
so that's why. So it's like, if you're a coach, you can't get to that rank 2 challenger, then what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yep. Disrespect for the game again.
Yeah, and yeah, totally. Another thing I would say as well.
But like a piano person who...
Just say it, mate. Say pianist.
A pianist who was like the best in like...
Nathan's hungover today.
Yeah, what's going on? He's like, oh, bloody piano man, whatever the fuck. Like Billy Joel, you know? Like...
The pianist...
Yeah.
Who was the best in Australia, right? Or Victoria or whatever.
Yep.
Who became a teacher or whatever. Again, they're extremely respected.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, my high school music teacher was in like the Australian orchestra, like a Sydney orchestra or something. And yeah, obviously very competent.
Yeah.
But also had to know how to teach.
Yeah. But he wasn't even close to the best in the world.
No.
Next up here comes from... Yeah, sorry, you're going to say something, Curtis. Sorry, I interrupted you. All right, next one here comes from Asilla, Challenger 1266 LP. Probably realize the fact that everything is your fault. Your rank is your fault. You getting angry at nothing is your fault. Accountability, pretty much.
Pretty much. Just
Pretty much.
accountability. Just accountability.
Yeah, again, great advice. It's
Yep.
true.
Bigger one here. This comes from season 1500 LP. Here we go. We're going to get into the weeds here. Let's see if I can read this without Charlie cracking up.
No, I'm going to straight face this whole thing, right?
Regarding your question, there are two main things that impacted my climb into 1500 LP Challenger, as both a Challenger Mage mid laner and AP carry player. The first is champ pool. Taking time and learning your specific champion or champions is just for mechanics. Once you learn the mechanics of that champion, you'll improve dramatically due to not needing to focus on the skill set of your champion. For Lux, as an example, she was a very basic champion that didn't need much time to learn combos of her skills. Though once you play her more, you get to know more of her limits / situations / being confident with your champion. It allows you to understand the focus of the game better. This goes for most other champions, but the main point is that you should be playing 1 to 3 champions that have the same archetype. For example, Lux, Seraphine, Hui in my case. This should be the same for everyone, even if you just want to be a solo queue player or if you are playing competitively. For competitive players, you should always focus on hitting challenge / high rank with your champion. Then you spread out. Since the belief of mechanics through transitioning, eventually from my pool, it'll lead to being able to play Hui to Syndra to Anivia and so on. Next is the concept of learning through not just yourself. Just watching higher elo players, just watch higher elo players. It will improve your knowledge and skill by a lot. It can be through the way they throw their abilities, or even the way how different matchups work. Even wave control. Again, for example, playing a mage like Lux, there was one main important thing that some people may not realize, even if it's super simple. Just throw abilities on minion last hits. Lux E has such a huge hitbox, and if it's timed correctly, you will never miss it unless it's baited. Or even ER in the wave on timers. These are just examples, but learning the fact that there's the best way that you should play your champions through teamfights, sidelining skirmishes, could even be a level 3 chi / win con. There's so much to learn from higher elo players that you might not be getting from playing the game by yourself.
Curtis.
Man, 75% of that was just garbled.
Hogwash.
I just can't even, I mean, there's a kind of brain lag from you, and then I got infected. I got infected by your brain lags for a second.
Yeah, because I lost steam.
Yeah. It was you had a crack. Okay,
I
so
don't give a fuck about
let's
Lux.
just the one thing I'm gonna tunnel vision on this post is this whole archetype thing.
Yeah.
And can be the case for some people. Some people prefer to play the same archetype. I would tend to disagree because those 3 champions, was it Seraphine, Lux, and
Hui.
Hui, are like the same champ for the most
specifically
part.
for mid as well.
It's like
when
no
there
one
is
does
breadth.
that for the most part. Most people who climb to Challenger as a mid laner do not have 3 of the
If you
same.
are, you're an outlier like this person.
Yeah, you're an outlier.
I think the big question is why. He didn't say why.
Okay, like
why should you stick to the same
to
archetype?
steelman his argument for a second, the
Yeah.
positives that the skill overlap is greater, right? So if you learn those skills on Lux, it's going to be a lot easier for you to translate the skills on Seraphine.
Then why
and
not just play Lux every game there?
Yeah, there maybe are some slight differences. Hui has a little bit more shredded to tankier compositions, but I really see the point of playing Seraphine then, unless you're playing a bot. So like, I kind of see his point, and yeah, for some, that is a viable way of climbing. I don't necessarily think that is the best way, nor is the most people would prefer to have more diversity in the draft. And I think as well, if you're already at a challenger level, you're getting to that level, you can play different archetypes. Think about it. Most people can play, at that level, can play maybe an assassin and a mage. Like, it's not out of the ballpark that's possible. Or you play like an Orianna and an Ari. They're both mages, but they're kind of different sub archetypes, you know? So I think it's okay advice. It's reasonable, but I kind of disagree.
Next one here, we're moving to the ADC position
Do you
now.
want to just do 3 per roll now? I think I feel like
I'll do
now,
that.
now we've got with the important roles. Book the rest, eh? Do you want me to read, by the way?
No, absolutely not. McQueen 69, 1826 LP, AD carry. Okay, for me, the biggest improvements I made were when I just watched pros or streamers play the game. For example, I started playing Twitch because I watched Riot IRL and thought that looked fun. Then I just copied his gameplay. I do that with pro VODs now. Another big thing is not getting overly bogged down in single events or games. I always see Reddit posts with an SS of a game.
Oh, screenshot.
Yeah.
Where their team was bad or WTV.
Whatever. Come on, you got to learn how to speak down with the kids.
But it's really just a waste of time and mental energy.
Remember MSN? This is pretend you're
MSN.
using MSN.
Okay.
It's like leet speak.
Wow. Throwback.
Skype or something.
And mental energy to focus on single unlucky games. In that vein, if you're like Silver and you have to recognize that you and everyone else in every game you play is objectively pretty bad, so there's no point at all in focusing on teammates at all. Think of bad teammates like small road bumps in your own progression of getting better. To give perspective, imagine a streamer who's doing another unranked to master thing and he's like 45-5, then gets a shitty supporting like Emerald. Is he going to care at all and throw a tantrum? Probably not, because he knows he's better than everyone else in the lobby and he's just a small, and that support, that's playing bad is just a small obstacle on the way up. You should have the same mentality. So if you use bad teammates as road bumps.
This is really good advice.
AD carry sounds very intelligent, very intelligent role. Don't get bogged down in the single games or events. I think that's super granular.
We use the metaphor or analogy of poker, right? You're going to have some bad hands. You don't tunnel vision on those bad hands. Do what you can, move on, wait for a better hand, right? That's the way.
Just play your hand the best you can. Highest EV way.
Exactly right. And he is so true. It is so true what he said though. If you go into like Reddit or any of these communities, they're tunnel visioning on these outlier plays, like this unwinnable game where I've got everyone's losing. We're like, it's like 0 to 21.
Yeah.
How do I win this game?
Yeah.
Look at this. It's impossible. How do I climb? But it's like, dude, it's one game. It's one event.
One of my favorite things is if someone's like having a little bit of a pity party in the VOD review session, we'll pull up the OPGG and we'll look at their match history. It's like they've lost like 4 games in a row. And then you scroll down and like last week they were on a tear. It's like, mate, what are you talking about? Like, it's just 4 games in a year that you're like basing your whole worldview off. People's minds get shattered.
They do.
Very quickly.
Yeah. They completely forget that.
Yeah.
Because
I think you even said this to me, but I had a tough loss on Unara, right? And I was like winning every Unara game. And we looked and you're like, oh, like that game, it makes sense statistically.
Of your 70% or 80% win rate, I said, well, that's the 20% game right there. Dude,
exactly
you've lost 20% of your games.
Exactly right. We don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
I do want to talk about the first thing you mentioned about what we've heard this a few times, watching other high level players. So what do you guys make of this? How does one practically watch and learn from another high level player in you guys' experience?
It's a tough one. I mean, what I like to do is try and translate for their VODs a lot of the time. Like we do pro reviews in Botlane Academy where I use their gameplay, but then I explain what the hell's going on and I try and make it more digestible, because I think sometimes hearing it straight from the streamer's mouth or just watching the raw gameplay can be quite confusing for people, especially like below Emerald. So I think that's one thing I try and do.
For me, you have to like really focus when you're watching them and understand the context of the game. Don't just like watch for a little bit, alt tab or whatever, and then come back. You need to understand the ebb and flow of the entire game in context with your champion. Because you can't just like, it's not helpful just, especially for jungle. You just, let's look at 9-0. Like when he's 9-0. Because you're not going to be in that situation with those players, with those lanes, going that. You might be able to learn some stuff about fights, but lock in and understand and try and really think about why they're making certain decisions.
I don't even do that, man. To be honest with you, the things I look for is I look at ability usage. Like if I'm trying to do a champ guard or something, or I'm looking at like a really good player, like how are they specifically using a spell? Like, what is the identity of that spell according to them? And I've learned some cool stuff like that. Like, I remember I was watching Gala for like Ezreal W usage once, and he was using WE in ways that I wouldn't imagine people to do that. So I learned a lot there. And also just like, I genuinely try and stray away from learning decision making from high-low VODs as much as humanly possible. Maybe that's just like I've
got some points on this. I think this is really important, right? So there's basically 3 ways to watch a VOD. And you guys actually described 2 of them perfectly. You either only look at the fight and execution. So you're trying to like, how is this guy executing fights and trades with an emphasis on ability usage, positioning, things like that. That's very, very good when you feel like maybe you go to the key team fights, or maybe
just AD carry in general. It's been the most practical thing as well.
That works. That can work really, really well. The second way is you go deep and you're like, okay, I'm going to really empathize and put myself in this guy's shoes and intensely watch this. Where it's like, okay, if I'm playing this game,
you pause and guess what they're going to do. Is that
you can do that, but it's more so just the like literally empathize. If I'm in this situation, like what would I do? You have to ask yourself that. Like you have to pretend you're playing the game. Like, oh, I would not have done that. Oh, interesting. Let's see why he does that. And then you have to really fully immerse yourself in that game, because then you're going to be able to immediately highlight things like, I wouldn't have done that. Why is he doing that? Oh, that's really interesting. And you'll start to be able to find alternate ways of playing the game. Or the third one is you don't watch it at all. Because it's literally a complete and utter waste of time. If you're not empathizing with that person and putting yourself in their shoes, or you're not trying to specifically look at the execution, it's just mental masturbation. Literally get zero value out of it.
It becomes a TV dinner at that point.
It becomes a TV dinner. It's actually probably even detrimental, because you're just wasting, you're just occupying your mind, you're overwhelming your mental stack with bullshit.
Yeah.
Though you think you're improving, that's the
Or
worst.
even worse. Yeah, I spend all this time watching VODs and I'm not getting any better. No, you're not.
Yeah, watching VODs. I'm glad we're not seeing too many people say watch VODs in these examples, because I think people shouldn't watch VODs.
No,
honestly, most
again,
people
if they are, it has to be following one of those two things, right? It has to be one of those two things, straight up.
Or again, watch a pro review. I like breaking them down. You know what that reminded me of? A friend of the show, Sybil, used to say when we were doing VOD reviews back on AV when I was coaching, he would say, when we're doing our VOD reviews, it just feels like I'm playing the game again, because he would get so immersed in the VOD review that he just was playing another game. Like he got to replay the same game and like correct the mistakes.
Yeah, right.
That was
That's awesome. That's intensity reviewing right there.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Or actually, just speaking anecdotally of players we've worked with, there are two players that I know for a fact review VODs completely different and got completely different value. I remember Fantix back in the day. He would like spam watch VODs all day. But I feel like he didn't, like he might get, I don't think he got that much value. I think he just did it for the sake of like.
He watched Doper a lot.
Yeah, he just watched Doper, but I genuinely don't think it changed his behavior. Like it kind of felt like maybe he picked up tiny little things. But for the most part, I think it was just a habit.
Yep.
And it like looked cool and it felt like he was immersed in League of Legends. Whereas Schönfire, when he watched VODs, you can tell he was actually like, if I'm in this situation, why is he doing that? He's genuinely trying to understand why that jungler was making that decision and like learning from it. And like, I think those were two players I could see in real time, like behind them, the way they're watching their VODs tangibly were like completely different. And those two players developed in completely different ways as well.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was fascinating.
One last thing on the VOD topic. It should go without saying, but try not watch professional matches, especially if it's down
Watch
to
solo queue games.
Streamers.
Yeah, watch solo
OTPs.
Yeah.
All right, last year one from 80 carry. This one comes from Heretic. 1100 LP challenger. Don't miss minions and don't die, and you will giga climb.
Okay,
that's his advice. Just don't miss minions and don't die.
And I can't really argue with that. If you hit every minion and never died, yeah, you would giga climb. Is that what we're doing for 80 carry?
Yeah. Unless you want to look at some more, Charles.
Well, I mean, that last one wasn't real, so we could do one more, I think.
All right. This one comes from Paragon, 960 LP challenger. The most impactful thing for me was just playing 2 to 3 champs at one time and then only focusing on my gameplay and what I can do / what's best for me in the moment.
Great. Next.
Right? Classic.
People love the 2 to 3 champions thing. You know, when everyone says 2 to 3, I always think, was it 2 or was it 3? Because there is an answer. But I feel like that people hear, I swear to God, if you actually look at all these people, I reckon it's 2 champs.
Interesting.
I swear to God.
No, 2 to 3.
No, I'm not. I
Like,
refuse. I actually want to look at it. It's like, do you know how there's a big difference between 2 to
It is a
3?
big difference.
I hate
Yeah,
when
it
people
is,
just
yeah.
throw that comment out. Like, around 2 to 3. Fucking, is it 2? Is it fucking 3?
So what I
don't
mean,
know.
I've done 2.
All my best clients have been from 2 champs.
Exactly, 2. Actually, it's been
Volibear,
2. No,
Rek'Sai.
2 or 1 for me.
Okay.
2 or 1.
Yeah, 2 or 1, yeah.
Yep.
Never been 3. Unless you have that niche extra pick.
When you start
probably
dabbling
lost.
in the-
You've had 3.
No, but like, okay, like I
you
think.
chample cycle.
Well, no, but okay, let's say I have a example of 3 to 4. Or I know you don't like the 3 to 4. Let's say I have 4. Most of my LP is coming from 2. I'm playing
There you
most
go.
of my games with those core 2
Yes.
champion, and those other 3, that 3rd and 4th champion, they're counter picks. They're very niche counter picks.
That makes sense.
But all my, like 85, 90% of my LP is coming from a core 2.
Yep, makes perfect sense.
Good. That's better. I like that answer. I'm sick of this. Oh, here we go. The first one now I see for top. Played between 1 and 3 champions.
What is this, a bot laner?
This is now top lane. This
Top
is
lane.
a challenger 920 LP. Animosity. Says OTP to climb or play 1 to 3 champs. So he's recommended either OTP or play 1 champion or play 2 champions or play 3 champions.
Yeah.
It's like do something or do that X3. That's a pretty huge difference. It's like
crazy.
How should I become a better runner? Should I run 1 mile a day or 3 miles a day? You know?
It is.
Well, it's interesting because if we're just trying to like psychoanalyze that response for a second, like maybe what they're trying to say is that as long as you're you have intention with your pool,
Yeah.
right? As long as like if you want to OTP, like OTP.
Yep.
If you want to have a pool, you need to really understand what your pool is. That's like the way I'm interpreting that
Yeah,
information.
because the opposite of that is pick whatever you want,
Yes.
whenever you want,
Exactly right.
and fuck the rest.
Like be
That's what
clear
people
on
do.
what you want to do. If you want to play 2 gens, play 2 gens. If you want to play 3, play 3 gens, and fucking double down on it.
Yep. And remember, guys, it doesn't have to be forever. You can make serious progress in a short amount of time by just sticking to the like a pool for a little bit, and then you can go back to like experimenting and cycling. And stuff.
Yep.
Our next one here comes from Arbrio, 1100 LP, top laner. The best thing that has helped me to improve is not to be scared to int. A common pattern I see with a lot of lower elo players is that they play overly safe because they are scared of dying and getting flamed, which prevents them from getting leads they could have gotten otherwise if they knew their limits. I'm so happy this is in here because all the things have been don't die, but that is actually really conflicting advice because how do you limit test and learn?
Yeah.
Do you see that in members that they're too scared to make plays because they're scared of like what their team will think? I don't see that even 1%.
Oh, this is good. I like how you said practically
Because this person here, they've mentioned a common thing I see in low elo players. Like which low elo players? Is this person coaching? Is this person like actually talking to low elo players, or is that just like a public sentiment thing? Because like when I coach low elo AD carries, they are not scared to make plays because of their team judging them. That just doesn't really happen. It's because they don't know their limits, or because they're missing a concept, or because they don't understand their chance reference points, or when they're strong and when they're weak. It's never because of
Yeah, I agree for jungle, same thing for my coaching
I think that's a
sessions.
complete lie. It's just not true.
Like
Sounds
because
good.
because
Yeah, it does. It sounded awesome.
Sounds
because
awesome.
they're going in
It tricked
like-
us.
Tricked both of you. I'm sitting
Yeah,
there like, what the
because
hell?
they're going in, like the junglers like ganking or they're going in, like no one just sits around.
They're playing to their level.
Yeah,
They're
that's right.
outputting the damage that they think they can.
Yeah. What do you think,
Yeah, I
Curtis?
wouldn't really. Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't really say.
Think practically, Curtis.
Okay, like
There's some archetypes of play.
Yeah, there is
support
an
players.
archetype of player that does fall into this category where they just genuinely don't make like they're afraid of failure and they won't make decisions. It's like
Okay.
I could make this play, but I don't want to mess it up. That does happen, but albeit it's rare.
Yeah.
it's if I were to work with 10 people, it's probably like 1 out of 10, maybe 1 out of 20, something like that.
Look at the mic.
It's either down here or up here.
He's looking. Looking for the answers.
Certain champions require you to limit test.
Nathan just gets roasted on this podcast
yeah.
sometimes.
I actually saw a comment on
People
last
worry we're
episode.
bullying you,
Yeah,
right?
no, someone in the comments of the last episode was said, "Oh, Nathan's the butt of the joke again."
Yeah.
It's like Piggy in the middle. He's in the middle. We're throwing the ball above. And
Yeah.
he's
No, Nathan, he does it on purpose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying to
He paints a target on his back.
Yeah.
100%.
He knows it pisses us off. That's
he
why.
leans into it.
Okay. Some champions require limit testing than more other champions. I think about champions like Kindred or Graves, specifically Kindred players. Everyone uses their abilities, but because they're in that AD carry mindset, super safe because they're super squishy, and they've had so many experiences where they're like, really, they've died or got one shot. They just don't queue forward or go forward when they should be queuing forward. And that really limits what they're doing with their champion.
Okay, so I think now that I'm really probably thinking about it, there are the ELO bracket that I see people not pushing limits enough is actually like Emerald
Oh, I
players.
was going to say Emerald as well. Yeah.
Around
see
Emerald,
that,
because
yeah.
it's like they've got to a very high level, but it's like you need to now push your limits and figure out what you're capable of doing. But it's not out of fear.
Yeah.
It's not out of fear. It's they just don't know what
Game
they
knowledge.
don't know.
Yeah, for example, counter. It's actually there's a little bit of fear. The whole counter jungling thing. People like platinum or low emerald junglers, they say, I've had so many bad experiences evading getting caught, so I don't do it. And it's like it's so obvious. There's no counter. Like the enemy can't do anything if you take their camps right now.
Same as in bot lane. Like you could literally just run the enemy down right here, and they're not running them down because they're scared. They just don't know that
They just don't know.
They don't know.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what it comes down. It's actually just a deeper understanding of your champion's strengths and weaknesses.
Yep.
That's most of the time.
Should we do one support one or two support ones?
Do 1 or 2.
Right.
Such disrespect. Such disrespect.
1450 LP support player, El Calamity. I think the best concept that helped me climb out of low elo was honestly just learning to mute people / pings. They were toxic or spamming and distracting. Also never typing, just focus on my own games and not having anything distract me from consistency.
Yeah, combine that with some other stuff, and you'll be set for sure. It's good to have someone bring that up there.
Another one here from Redemption. Really interesting. The two right now are all about turn off chat. 1400 LP Redemption says, number 1, turn off chat. It has no value. Number 2, try to ping more to communicate what you do or want to do / your team to do. And if the call you made is bad, don't be embarrassed. Just learn from it. Never shy away from making a bad
That's
play.
a good one.
I like that,
That's a
yeah.
really good one. Like people are actually, we're talking about fear. People
Scared
are
to make
scared.
calls.
They're scared to
make
take
calls.
control.
Yes.
That's true. They are, yes.
They are afraid to look like an idiot, make the wrong call, right?
Yep, definitely.
But I think the support ones are interesting. They're a lot different. It's more about like, because support players, it's more about holistic things and
Yeah.
communication.
True.
Because I know that, Cupcake, he talks a lot about communication and pinging, way more than I do, especially in my
Communicate your
sessions.
intent is a very important fundamental support.
All right.
L3, one more support.
All right, one more support. Let's do this one here from Inflame, 1300 LP support player. When I first started climbing, I stuck to one specific playstyle instead of playing random champions. I spammed engage supports like Thresh, Nautilus, Pike, and Leona, champs where one good CC can instantly win a fight. By doing that, I learned what my role in the game was much faster. In low elo, mechanics matter a lot more because you can often carry fights with or skirmishes alone. As a hook support player, I spent a lot of time thinking about when and where my hook should be used in each scenario, and that mindset helped me climb from silver to diamond in one season.
Yeah, get granular about your ability usage. I think that's a really good point. I also think that like the whole playing different archetypes thing definitely changes role to role.
Yep.
I think it would be whiplash to go from Alistar to Melio more so than going from like an Orianna to an Ahri. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's a bit disingenuous. Like that, the equivalent would be Orianna to Zed
Orianna to Zed.
or something, or
Oh,
Orianna to
yeah.
Fizz.
Yeah, that'll be the same thing as that, yeah.
it's
Which
pretty
you don't really recommend.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Done.
Yeah, I think I think if you want to be a player, right, that wants to change your archetype,
Yeah.
you do it gradually. You don't go from Orianna Zed or Alistar to Emilio. You might do a middle ground champion, right? Something that can do a bit of both.
Yep.
Hence why Ahri is like that champion, right? Because you kind of play some fights like an assassin, but
Right.
you play mage lane like a mage, so you're kind of that bridge.
Doesn't Zed kind of land a bit like a mage
Yeah,
too?
Zed kind of as well. That's why I said Fizz. Fizz would be the other extreme, right? Or like even like a
Sure.
Kassadin, right? You like the other extreme.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think this is another really great piece of advice. I love focusing on ability usage, getting really granular about your ability usage.
Yep.
Tunnel visioning on that and feeling the power of intentionality with ability usage.
Yep.
I think it's very infectious in your journey because once you start to realize, wow, if I just use this one ability better, this one ability more intentionally, I can change the outcome of an entire fight. And once you've got that in your mind, you start thinking, well, what are the abilities that the enemy are doing that are changing fights?
Yeah.
That I can maybe think about. Or when I play this other champion, maybe I should be more careful about how I use X. So it's like, I think it's a really important mindset shift that every high level challenger player has. They know the significance of, like, if, say, a Pike that holds Q and doesn't rush their Q. They just know that how important that is.
For sure. All right. Well, yeah. Thank you again to Bok, was his name?
Bok,
for that
yeah.
video.
Love the link in the
great
description
little
below.
video.
Really good idea.
Cool.
I think, some overall really good advice from our challenger acquaintances.
All right. So we're at the 1 hour, 26 minute mark, Nathan. Do with that information what you want.
School post. School post of the week comes from Ryuga. The title of this post is Uncoachable.
Whoa.
Hey guys, about 2 weeks ago, my downfall started. I dropped from Diamond 2 to Emerald 3 in the span of 1 week.
People are so melodramatic about League of Legends. It's like he's writing like his
downfall.
bloody memoirs. Like 2 weeks ago, I was on the front lines. My downfall began. They were advancing on us from all angles. We were low on food. I sent a postcard to my wife. Like it's just everything's done.
It just
you know?
shows how big people care a lot about League. It's
It's a brutal game. It's a
brutal game.
Yeah, I've been going to Diamond 2 to Emerald 3 because you put your life into getting Diamond 2 and it goes like that. That's the thing. I don't want to compare League to like, gambling in a casino, but you can make money, you can lose it quick.
I'm really good at losing money fast.
I don't know if anyone's been down the gambling route, but I'm not saying League. There's very clear reasons why you went down to Emerald 3, not the luck of the cards.
Spin of the wheel.
Spin of the wheel, red or black. At first, like any low elo player, I blamed the game. But then I started thinking, maybe it's my fault.
Ooh.
That maybe I don't actually belong there and I'm making mistakes. So I tried to get help. I bought the skill capped course, which basically has everything you need to climb. Micro, macro, base timers, power spikes, wave management, how and when to recall, map winners, jungle tracking, literally everything. I even made a notebook and wrote around 50 pages of notes from it.
Whoa.
But it didn't work. Even though I was actively trying to apply most of those things, nothing really changed. Also, I got coaching from 3 different coaches, all challenger players. They explained my mistakes and I tried to apply what they said, but my playstyle just doesn't seem to change. Sometimes I manage to apply certain things and consistently with my lane, but that doesn't mean I win consistently. The overall result is always the same. I've started to think that maybe I'm impossible to coach. Is it possible for a player who genuinely wants to improve to just not be able to, even after doing so much and still not succeeding? Is it possible that I've reached my maximum level and I can't go any higher than this? Because I'm starting to not understand the problem anymore and I just keep blaming myself for not being good enough. All my friends are at least master and instead of climbing, I'm dropping, I'm plummeting. I honestly feel like if I keep playing on my main account, I'll end up silver, no joke. I have an older account, a fresh one, and I started playing on it. I'm gold 4 with an 80% win rate, playing in emerald games. While on my main, I'm already playing with platinums because my MMR is ruined. I don't know what I should do. A lot of my friends told me to take a break, but if I don't play for even one day, it feels like I haven't touched the game in a week and I play worse. I don't know who to blame and it frustrates me that I don't understand what I'm supposed to do in the situation. So did we blame his teammates? Do we blame himself? Do we blame skill cap? Do we blame the challenger coaches? Why is this person can't improve? Have they reached their maximum opius?
I will just ignore that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I came out with a video a few days ago when this got released where I touched on this topic.
Sorry, what
and I cover the shame.
Yeah.
There's a whole section on the shame of what happens. This immense amount of shame that people are left with when they have.
Throwing you off, Curtis. It's Charlie's fault.
What did you say?
Yeah, the shame.
Talking about this guy's life story here. You guys are just giggling.
I know.
Poor dude.
No, we need to.
All right, getting back to reality here for a second, guys. Come on, get your shit together. Shame. Right, this guy is left feeling like an absolute loser. Right, fundamentally, he feels like absolute.
He's compared to his friends.
All his friends are high elo. He's busting his
in
balls. He's got 3 challenger coaches helping him. He's bought skill cap, taken 50 pages of notes. And he's dropping. He's gone backwards. Right? He's not even not improving. He's gone backwards, right? So this guy is in a absolute hellhole of a mindset. And we can sit here and be like, oh, this guy is not focused on his gameplay, whatever. But the fact that this is possible is absolutely fucking sickening.
Yeah.
And I have a whole video talking about how this happens. And it's no fault of his own. No. It's not his fault, right? He's gotten terrible advice, okay? And this is the state of the coaching industry in League of Legends, right? This would be literally impossible in basically 98 of other industries out there. There's no way that if you hired 3 independent guitar coaches that you're going to get worse.
No.
Right? Even if they weren't even that good, you would still go forward. You may not resonate with their style, but you wouldn't get worse. You wouldn't be confused as to why you're not getting better.
And the reason that is, because I've had music lessons, right, is because the journey has been cataloged and broken down into clear steps, age brackets of level of understanding, and then literally just taught in the way that it has been for years. Tens, hundreds of thousands, millions of people have done coaching, like been through piano lessons, right? So you would just watch them play. You would understand, okay, that's your level. Awesome. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get you this book. We're going to go through these steps over these number of weeks. And by the end, you'll be able to play these pieces and you'll understand these concepts. But in League of Legends, it's like you're just randomly typing it on a website like Challenger Coach. You're finding old mate like bloody, I don't know, Ben from bloody Europe, who's going to just open up your VOD and he's going to tell you the same thing he probably told 100 other people. And he's got no results for people. He's never actually gone back to look whether his coaching clients got results. He doesn't know what's replicable and what's luck. And it's just
There's no structured approach.
Stone ages.
We're in
as
the
Nathan would
stone
say.
ages of
Absolute
coaching,
Stone
and-
Been
ages.
saying that for years.
And that's where we're at. We are in the stone ages of coaching. And like, this ties into the high level view of just because you're a high level player doesn't mean you're equipped to coach. And coaching is just absolutely pissed on in the league, in the gaming industry. That's where we're at. And right, it's not the coaches who are losing out on this. It's the fucking players.
Yeah.
Right. Because the coaches are getting their money, right? The coaches are getting paid for that 1 hour session, right? With that, and that's the business model that these coaches do, right? They don't have what we have in the WTL, which is like you come in, you actually build a relationship with the coaches. You're seeing the same coaches every 2 weeks or 1 week, again and again and again and again.
They're DMing us back and forth.
Getting
there's
questions. If something's not working, you're getting feedback instantly. Well, okay, we'll see what's going on. Come by again.
And there's resources, but the resources are linked to when it's appropriate. Not like I'm slamming you with a bloody textbook on the table. Here's League of Legends.
We'll send you specific
Deal with it.
resources that deal with your specific scenario. And so my point being is that most other coaches are doing 1 hour session. See you later. Good luck. Make of that what you will. And if you fail, usually the coach's mindset is you just failed. You didn't understand it properly. You didn't execute it properly. It's your fault. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the reality. So this poor guy is now left after having 3, skill captain, 3 shit coaches, left feeling like a sack of shit, thinking that it's his fault. Poor guy.
Yeah.
And now he's got an immense amount of stage 4 issues, thinking, what's wrong with me? Right? I've done all this work. Am I that bad?
Because now the way you get worse, it's all those, like, something happens in the game. Oh, here we go again. Oh, I can't, play this. I can't fight this way. And
mental baggage.
He's
is immense.
literally thinking in the game now. The moment something goes wrong, I'm going down to silver.
Yeah.
Instead of and that's how the plummet happens, because you're not even thinking about the game or how to win the game anymore.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
he's just in his head massively. So what does this guy got to do? What has he got to do? I think there's 2 options in my opinion, right? Option number 1 is take a massive break from the game.
Yep.
That would be a very wise choice, literally.
Cleanse the mind.
Cleanse, and I'm talking like, what did you have in mind? I'm thinking
like 6 months or something.
I was thinking either weeks or a month or something.
Yeah, 2
Turns out
weeks.
it's
2 weeks would
is
be,
fine.
yeah.
2 weeks is fine.
I think like 2
2
weeks.
weeks is a long time.
I mean,
Yeah.
when I was in Italy for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That felt like a long
I felt
time.
like a
That
millennium.
for like 6 months.
Right, so
yeah.
3 weeks
I
is
would never
huge.
tell someone to take a 6 months break from
No.
the game. It's just, I always talk about like time. Humans are so shit at time.
Yeah.
Exactly,
We don't
yeah.
know how to visualize
Yeah.
time.
So I'll say, sorry, that was the first one.
Yeah.
Or get coaching in WTL.
Mm.
That's it. That's literally what you're left with. A break or that. Or I guess the third one is give up and just play for fun and play norms. Right? There's 3 options.
Yeah. Because right now, you're not going to recover from this
No.
without drastic action.
No.
The 4th option, the Nathan Mott special, get rid of that Gold Smurf account, play on your Platinum 3 account with Ruined MMR, go down to Silver, hit rock bottom, rebuild the foundation of your gameplay. Because you actually become a better player, because then you actually break down the game into its raw. That's what I did. When I went down from, like when I was coming back again from my break, I was similar in the depths. I was in my head, everything. I went down from Master to literally Platinum 1, Platinum 2. That was when, I don't think Emerald was in the game at that point. Platinum 2, Platinum 1. And I did a thought experiment. I said, what happens if I play the game purely fundamentally, beautiful, high percentage decision making? And instead of thinking about the LP, the rank, whatever, I stripped the game down to its raw being in a way. And in 2 weeks, I fixed my account in MMR that was getting negative gains, and I got to Master Tier in literally 2-3 weeks.
But you had the underlying knowledge of what that was like. You were around, you were in a house full of professional players, you had been a high level before. And I also think like you're beating around the bush a little bit, Nathan, because a coach's job is to make it so the average League of Legends player doesn't have to go to hell and back to climb, right? Like why would...
I think either way though, if that person wanted to go to hell and back, he should still take a break anyway. Because what's the likelihood that he's going to have the mental resilience to lose 30 games, go to silver, and have the resilience to like, all right, now I'm hit rock bottom. Now I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, he's
No
not,
way. He's not gonna do that.
He's not actually going to hit silver, Curtis.
You're a psychopath.
No,
Nathan.
I'm trying to trick
Like,
people. This is what happened to. This is what
Small smoke and mirrors.
It's true. I can get up the Discord message. Someone
It's like,
said
with my hand, he pull a fucking coin out from behind his ear. Like that's what we're doing.
this guy in the Jungle Academy came to the daily to think. We spoke for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I told him, I want you to. He was like, Master. No, he went down to Diamond from Master. I said, you need to be comfortable going down to Emerald. and that was a trick.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And you know what I mean?
I get what
And
you mean.
And then he actually got to 300
because
LP,
you're
400
saying,
LP.
You're saying that
because-
remember they stopped thinking about
Yes,
LP.
or he let go
Yeah,
and
he let
just brought
go.
the game to
Oh,
the
yeah, no.
foundations.
Giving people permission to lose games is important. I
Yes,
agree with that.
you're pulling off the curtain, Curtis. I was trying. That's what I
get
mean
what
when I
you
say
mean,
that.
but I just don't think he's going to run into the same problems because what's going to happen
It's
is
different
that,
when you hear it from Mott, though. When the way he'd put that together. It would
yeah, I
do-
get it. You know, you smoke and mirror show, but the reality is that this person is going to go back. Let's say they drop, right? Let's say they drop to low plat 4.
Yep.
And then they actually, let's say they actually, what the hell's going on?
That's all right. We got to go back to these. Yeah, actually, what? Sorry.
Okay, so let's say they go to drop to platinum 4 and then they climb a little bit, right? And they hit their plateau point. This person doesn't know how to overcome a plateau. They're just going to refer back to whatever they were doing before. I just think that either way, like this person needs complete cleanse. They need a cleanse. They need
Just a reset, yeah.
They need a reset.
Yeah. And join WTL.
Enjoy WL. Yes, exactly right. Because this person obviously cares a lot about getting results, right? That's the reality. And it's just a shameless plug. I don't really give a shit. People say, "We just here to just do it."
Well,
You know
that's
what I
what
mean?
helped. We've helped many diamond players break
I hate
through, get to
seeing this
master.
shit. Like,
Yeah.
what am I?
Just
What do you,
not-
what's the alternative? You're
Not
gonna go
just many, hundreds.
Hundreds.
thousands.
Thousands.
What are you gonna do? You
Yeah.
like just go and get another random challenger coach. What's the solution?
Yeah.
Like that's it. Just join WTL. The
That
problem
was
solved.
Skill Cap's lawyer calling before.
Yes, it was.
Defamation.
The challenger
All right.
coaches.
Moving on.
All right, mailbag time. Away we go. Welcome back for Nathan's mailbag. Jingle, jingle, jingle song. Alrighty then. This first question here comes from Banji. The title of this email is "To Brawl or Not to Brawl." Gents, hello. It's Banji from the MLA, previously Jungle Academy, with a discussion point as well as comparison between League and the outside world. I've been in flight school for the past year, and playing League with the BBC principles has oddly enough made me a better pilot. Concepts like the what's next mentality, 3-block process, and champ identity deep dives have all translated directly to aviation.
Whoa.
Let's start up our
Flight school.
flight school. Let's go.
There you go.
Get on the Microsoft flight simulation.
Yep.
You know, I think I've said it on this podcast before. They're actually really good. You can actually fully learn how to fly a plane.
Have you done that?
simulation. No, I haven't, but I've heard on the grapevine.
Heard.
In the airplane, there is always something to be doing. And what's next set me up perfectly for my instrument training. Champion identity evaluation translated to learning each system of the airplane, the downfalls and how they want to be run, etc. My question to you guys is this: can playing Brawl purely to practice mechanics be helpful? In my flight training, we practice a ton of land-ins. Sometimes you may be working a very specific stage of the land-in that passes by in seconds after 10 minutes of preparation. By the same theory, if I want to practice 10 minutes of skirmishing without going into a full game for 45 minutes, why not boot up a game of Brawl and get into the action? Curious to hear what you guys think on this one. I imagine there is some nuance about how Brawl fights don't pan out like real games. Do you guys know the game
Have you
mode?
guys played Brawl?
I thought it was Smash Bros. Brawl.
That's just goes to show how disconnected we are from other game modes that is not Summoner's Rift because that's our office.
Mm.
So what Brawl is, Charles?
Yeah.
It's a fast-paced 5v5 team deathmatch game mode in League of Legends designed for quick 10 minutes matches on a small action-focused map, effectively removing lanes and towers to focus solely on fighting.
What?
The goal of the game is to reduce the enemy teams to 250 health
Just like Yu-Gi-Oh.
to 0 by securing heals, escorting minions into a portal and fighting for jungle buffs.
Why have I not heard of this? Is it on the
this
client?
Is your yes. You should be.
Can you
getting
play
into
it
this.
now?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's in,
So they took
Is it
League
like
of
a
Legends
rose?
and removed the towers and minions.
and you win the game by
and lanes.
killing people. Team deathmatch.
Why is this popular and we're just out of the loop, or is this just like
I think
is
it's
it not out
I think
yet?
there's some lot of
Dunno.
videos. I'm pretty sure it's out.
Right.
Well, this guy's saying he should be playing Brawl.
So the question, what's the question? So he wants his
Isolating skills and drilling, I guess.
Can he,
in
can, he
Brawl.
use, can he use Brawl to get better at solo queue?
His mechanics, yeah.
Probably. Why not? You're fighting. Depends what sort of mechanics, right?
Well, you have like remember we were talking about Biopants, the ARAM players and stuff, how you learn a lot
I don't know.
about the
I
game
can't
and
comment on
fighting.
this. I don't tell people to do it, and I've never done it myself.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
would
So
just
it's
keep
all.
my mouth
It's just
shut.
everything here. What we're about to say is pure speculation. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we've never recommended this. We've never done it ourselves.
No.
So we're kind of entering uncharted territory here. Okay. So let's just think about the skills that you would develop skirmishing. Okay.
Mm.
Do people lose games because they mess up skirmishes?
Yes.
Yes, for sure. But specifically why? Is because they're lacking anticipation or they don't know their role. Now, in Brawl, are you going to be able to identify your role in a team fight, in a composition?
Probably.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it would be more about your role. It would more about be like, well, there's a very unorganized fight here. How do the kits interact? Where's the damage coming from? In which case, you would be able to develop anticipation. Okay?
Yeah, you would do. I think you would definitely develop anticipation around enemy spells.
Exactly right.
Because you would have just more repetitions. Let's say I'm versing a Lissandra, and Lissandra's play pattern is generally she likes to E over walls and they go on you. If that happens maybe twice in a real solo queue game, but 20 times in a Brawl game, I'm learning 10 times as fast.
Or like even any champion, right? Nari's diving on you. She's going to arch arm you. You know that that's what she's going to do. So that's what you're looking for.
Prime your mental stack for that.
Yeah. So I would say it would develop that particular skill. Is that a very, very valuable skill? I would say so. Yeah, it is.
I would also say as well that, we taught the advice, and this is what worked for a lot of people and all of us learn in the game, is you need to know what every champion does in the game. That really helps big time.
Yep.
So think about that. 10 minutes, 5v5.
You can be exposed to more champs.
9, you could be basically exposed. Let's say you're versing, you say you really only think about 5 of the enemy team champs because they're the one that's punishing you, so you learn quicker, feedback loop, because painful experiences hurt more than your teammates killing everyone. 15 champs every, let's say 40, about an hour. Let's say you get 3 games in an hour or 45 minutes, 4 games in 45 minutes. So you get 20 champions of knowledge or just like rough thing every 40 minutes. It's super efficient.
It's probably, to be honest, I mean, we'll have to play it to comment on this extensively, but potentially it could be an interesting way of streamlining your game understanding and understanding how champions interact, potentially.
To play devil's advocate, it probably strips away a lot of the context.
Yes, because a lot of League is patterns and like understanding, the way the actual fight plays out around River, around Dragon with these items, like
I could even
especially for us.
Take the Lissandra or Ari examples. The way I play around Ari depends on where I am on the map, what level everyone is.
Right.
What are we fighting over? Like because when you're in a game, it's not just like as soon as the fight starts, all the trees in the map disappear.
Yeah, it's not like we're in...
The terrain is so important.
Yeah, it's not like you're in World War I or whatever. Like, we're all lining up in a line. They all run it. We all run at them, right? Yeah, it's like guerrilla warfare, right? Where there's fog of war and there's some weird shit going on. So, yeah, you're right. But still, right, it's not that you would get no value.
Yeah, you would get
There would be some value for sure. Again, the extent, the amount of value, we don't know. It's hard to say.
I also don't know, like, is it literally the same cooldowns and the same
it wouldn't be, surely. Surely it'd be. It's like ARAM's different as well, right? Because they have like different items and shit.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
What we've learned from this segment is how much we love Summoner's Rift is our world. We don't care.
Yeah, you look at the clients like, am I going to play this or am I going to play Summoner's Rift
or ranked? Yeah.
It's just
ranked.
It's just pre-selected. You load it and you spam the click button.
Yeah, I generally didn't even see it on my client.
I hit play in the top left and I hit play in the middle.
That's right.
And then I'm in. Load me in.
It's true. I'm literally on the client. I just realized I block out everything. It's all a blur.
It's all a blur.
Yeah.
Because I don't care about anything but my queue pop in.
That's correct, yes.
And maybe my friends list. I'm interested to see if Curtis is in game or
whatever.
I
like seeing what Curtis is in game as well. Me too.
So it's crazy.
What was the question?
What was the question?
Did we answer the question?
Oh, the question was, could he learn isolating skills and could he learn skirmishing better and faster? Just like his
My final answer is I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd love you to try and then report back.
I agree. Give it a crack and see how it goes and let us know. You can be maybe our guinea pig.
Next one here comes from Dakota. The title of this email is Coming Back from a Break, a Vacation to Italy.
Yes.
Hello, BBC. I've been playing League of Legends for around 8 years and have loved playing it. For most of it, though, I've been casually random champions for the first 4 years of role swapping, a lot really just playing the game for fun with friends. Though in Season 14, Split 1, I decided to lock in after being introduced to your podcast and adapt a lot of your teachings. With those teachings, I reached Emerald 4, mainly playing Kindred with a tiny bit of Maokai and Talia. Got a jungler on our hands here.
Another jungler. Picked a jungler for the question.
But that push caused a lot of burnout, and I went down this route after that split of not taking the process that seriously. That in turn really ruined my relationship with the game I once loved, so I decided I would just occasionally play ranked. Late in finding out, not ideal either. And going back to mainly casual, but sticking with jungle role, did a few stints in mid lane. But now I'm in a unique situation. I'm currently studying abroad for college in South Korea. This trip will mean I'll be taking a 4-month break from League, my longest since downloading the game. During this time, I've talked to new friends here that are higher ranked, and it's really gotten me wanting to pursue that more intentional play and do ranked again, but instead the time actually commit to a process like I did in Season 4. But since it's been so long, a question I've had is how do I go about returning? Mainly be my champion pool and goal setting. What champions? For champions, do I go back to my old champ mastery or does it matter since it's been so long? I still played the 3 on and off since then, 3 champs on and off since then, or since I am in low elo, do I play beginner champs and work my way up with champs like Nocturne, or do I pursue what champs I'm interested in because I've always wanted to be a great tank jungle player? I love that character style. Yep. The second part of the question is, what does a goal look like for someone in my situation? You guys preach not looking at your past, so what would you expect me coming back?
I think it's the only thing that's complicated this question slightly is he says he wants to play tank junglers. But if I ignored that, the advice is simply pick who you want to play and go piss fart around on the Rift and just queue.
Yes.
Spam few games on a champ you want to have fun with and then see what happens for a little bit. That's how it should go at the start anyway.
Especially, readjusting to your rank. Like, see where you're at, Don't overthink it. Just get the reps in, and see how the game feels like. You're talking about syncing up and the feel of the game and the flow of the game. Yeah. That's what happens from a break. Don't overthink it. Just play a lot.
Play like 100 games.
And play your champs. Play Kindred. See what they feel like and compare it to how you played.
If you want to, I would personally differ with my advice. I don't think I would say play whatever you want because this guy hasn't played since Season 4 and he's going to play Talia jungle. Is that really a good idea?
I said he wants to play tank jungles though.
Right. But he said
he's played Kindred and a tiny bit of Malachi and Talia. So what I would like this person to do is play Kindred. Do you not agree with that?
No.
Why?
I think that...
Nathan, that was Season 4. That was 12 years ago.
Yeah. I just think that it's irrelevant. It means nothing.
No, Season 14. Split one, I decided to lock in.
You said 4.
No, 4 years roll swap in.
I swear you said Season 4.
Okay,
at the end of the email, it says Season 4.
Okay, well, does that change things? Kindred, right?
Well, Season 14
So is it Season 4 or Season 14? It's 2 years ago or 14? What is it?
2 years ago.
Okay. It's 2 years ago.
Yes.
Oh.
That changes a lot.
Yeah, it changes a lot.
Kindred.
Yeah, Kindred's fine then.
Yeah,
cool.
Yep, just play Kindred, lock in a bunch of games and see,
if champions in your games look fun, then maybe we can pivot to those as well, I would say.
But again, the key is not really reviewing, playing a lot of games. Don't even worry about process. Just literally pump out games.
Don't set goals.
Get to a point where you feel like you're relatively in touch with the game. You kind of feel like, I've got a bit of muscle memory. I can think a little bit more about when I'm playing.
Yep.
Then that moment, that's when you maybe want to start potentially looking at some educational resources or reviewing maybe some of your deaths and going from there.
The interesting thing is going back to my journey, coming back from the 4-year break, I did exactly that. I went back onto my Udia because that's what I got ranked 2 challenger with. And I tried to smash that out and I hated it.
Yeah.
And then I just ditched that completely.
Yeah.
Because the game just
the game would be so different. Totally.
Yeah. I mean, again, maybe it's just different from that era.
Yeah. So sometimes there's a big difference between Season 4 and Season 4.
But go on the Kindred. I like Kindred and see how it feels.
But if he was a Kindred, was Kindred even out in Season 4?
Season 14.
No, but I'm saying though, in hypothetical world.
No, Kindred was not out in Season 4.
Wouldn't have been out, right?
5 or 6.
So let's say hypothetically this person was coming back from Season 4. If we were to answer that question.
Well, even like you did now.
You wouldn't play any of those champs. Yeah. You would pretend you're starting from scratch. And
rock up on the Amumu.
Yeah, you would want to play Amumu or Nocturne, super simple, and go nuts.
This kind of question just really goes to show the importance of getting ultra specific around this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And even an email is hard to give feedback on because it lacks that back and forth conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing with coaching and league. You need a lot of information. There's a lot of information that's required to give great advice.
Because have you noticed a common trend, not to completely flame the mailbag, but people go on these waffling trains where they write you this fucking memoir and half of it is irrelevant. We're just passing what information is useful and not useful,
True.
I understand that it's a bit of personality getting across and telling a bit of a story, but there's follow-up questions required.
No, it is really interesting though. I have found that people include information even when it's not in this setting. Let's say they're just looking for advice in the academy. They will give a lot of information that is completely irrelevant.
But they think that's
But they think it's important.
Yeah.
They think it's really important.
Yeah, they're hinting.
Yeah.
I want you to do
They'll
something
try and
with
direct.
this.
They'll try and
trying
push
to
you in a bit. I completely.
but we
yeah,
just
yeah.
completely
Yeah,
gloss over
completely
it, or we
ignore
just
it.
think it's.
I love it when
that's
someone
interesting.
comes to a coaching session. Oh, God, fuck, I want to throw him under the bus. I'll do it. X-Bolt came to a coaching session recently. I think it was X-Bolt. And he came with all his timestamps. And he's like, okay, Charlie, here's the VOD. I got these timestamps. I'm like, awesome, mate. Well, we'll see if we get to the timestamps. So I'm just going to watch the VOD.
Yeah.
Just completely, sorry, no.
And did you ever get to them? Were they important?
Yeah, after we finished the review, I went back to one that he wanted to look at. But the
But
they'll come up
overall,
naturally. if
no,
they're
yeah, no,
important.
but overall, his learn objective and what he actually needed to focus on was actually got to do with those timestamps at all.
Oh, not even close.
Okay, well, there you go.
He was not even close. He was just recalling investments. That was a really big part. Was his learning objective.
But he didn't think about that at all.
his learning objective was about the recall position.
Okay.
It was that basic.
I see.
Yeah.
But he didn't never mention that. He never even thought that was possible with his gameplay.
No, he didn't know.
Yeah, okay.
That's what coaching
yeah,
does.
so that's exactly
Yeah,
that's
I
what
think
coaching
this
does.
is pretty normal in any endeavor, though,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Of course. No, but people don't think it is, Curtis.
No,
Again,
yes.
people don't think it is.
Yeah.
People bring the timestamps to the review and they expect the coach to simply dissect the
Yeah.
timestamps and say, was this good or bad? Give me the binary answer, yes or no.
Right.
They think we can be replaced with AI,
Right.
where really our job is to cut through and
Yeah.
tell people what they don't
That's
fucking
why
know.
Just we'll have
That's
to
why
do
we
a-
get riled up about this. You know, it's fucking annoying.
We're gonna have to do a whole episode on like AI with coaching, right?
Yeah,
But
I
it's
agree.
so far off. Like it's not even in. Like it's so hard to replace coaching with AI. At least
Yeah.
in the short, like in the medium term, even like in the next 10 years, because like you said, coaching it's about understanding, like getting to the absolute root cause of not only what happened but why it happened.
Because think about how AI works. Here's my problem. Solve this problem.
Yeah.
They'll
What that
fucking do it.
person,
They'll do it.
Yeah, that the AI. Let's say it would, even if it does it,
yeah.
it's never going to get to the recall.
No.
No,
You know,
No.
because Charlie was able to find that in
Yeah.
the VOD because people just don't really.
You know how I got to that? By reverse engineering the problems and realizing, wait a second, something's really wrong here. What's going? Yeah, and trends and stuff.
it's so complicated. It's way too complicated.
It's complicated in its simplicity as well. That's what it is, because people don't think problems are simple. They think the problems should be hard.
Yeah.
It's a trick. Everything's
It's
a
a trick.
trick.
Yeah. Everything is a
Everything's
trick.
a prestige. It's like
Yeah, yeah. No, like, you know, going back to that school post, that Diamond 2
Yeah.
guy, he thinks that his issue, he's thinking it's like impossible. Like Diamond 2 is like the hardest thing
Yeah.
ever, but it's actually
It's the same things.
No, but he's seeking the hard things. Like it must be hard.
I saw
You see what I mean?
That's
Like,
what he's-
that's what he's going to be, you know, going towards. But
he
then
thinks
you
he's lacking advanced laning
yeah.
concepts.
And you
or,
look
like-
at the VOD and it will be like just really basic, simple stuff that he knows, but he just doesn't
He
think it's
can't see
important,
it.
or he can't see.
He
He's
can't
so
see
blinded
it.
to
Yeah.
it. Yes.
That's the thing.
to
with-
no fault of his own again. It's
with
just-
no fault
oh,
because League is one of those games where like you got to be able to see the forest through the trees.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is like you got to just have experience and have figured that out yourself in the past, and also you have to understand the consequences of every decision. That's the key, right? What a great coach is able to do is be like, okay, well, there's 35 mistakes here.
Yeah.
There's 35 decisions that you've made. They're all incorrect, but okay, this one is the one that you're gonna struggle with in all of your games. This is gonna permeate in all of your games, and this is gonna influence the majority
Yep.
of your games and create a particular game state.
That's right. It's like the base of the tree.
It's
If
the
you
base of the
change
tree.
that, we go another universe.
And
right?
what the challenger coaches do is that we'll look at all. They're basically okay. What they're doing is picking off the dead leaves at the top.
Yep.
And what great coaching is getting to the root of the base of the root of the tree.
Yep.
Right.
That's a
And
good
you can
analogy.
pick all those dead leaves off, but you're still left with a rotten base. It doesn't matter
No, it
because
doesn't
the
matter.
base is rotten. So that's the metaphor there.
Yeah. I actually, again, just to go back to that review, because it's so important, like we would go through a timestamp that he had listed on his sheet and he would be like very, very satisfied with just knowing like yes or no. Was this, people love it. Like, was this a good call? Yes or no? And like there are learnings there, but in an isolated way, you don't really get much from that. It's like, I don't know. Hard to articulate.
It's
but
hard to
There's so
articulate.
much more than just knowing whether a play was good or bad.
I think the last thing I'll say here, and I kind of talk about it in my video that I posted on my YouTube channel, is like league coaching is just a craft that is so, it's not even, you know how we talk about it's disrespected. It's disrespected to like the nth degree. You know what I mean? Like the difficulty of being a good league coach is like leaps and bounds harder than exponentially harder than what people think it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like it's slightly harder. It's exponentially
Not even in the
harder.
ballpark.
You're not even in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Exactly right. That's my point. It's like that's how much of a problem it is. You know, but we can agree upon in so many other like tangible, these physical, tangible skills. We can kind of socially and just you can get in the rough ballpark figure. I'll be like, okay, we know we can all agree on that. That looks really hard. And that would be really hard to do. And that would be really hard to teach. But like, that's not the norm in League of Legends.
Yeah, I could keep talking, but we should wrap it up, eh?
We've got to announce the winners.
Holy shit, we forgot.
Of our giveaway. The Battle Pass.
The Battle Pass.
Because we are now Riot. What's the thing called?
League Partners.
League Partners, yes. Courtesy of Riot Games, we're giving away 5 Battle Pass. Last week, we asked the audience to tell us which champion you find the most annoying and why. So let's announce our 5 winners. We'll also put these in the pinned comment or in the comments.
Will we?
somewhere.
I don't think we will. We can't.
We just got to message them.
So what we're going to do, these
have
5
the
lucky
Discord.
winners, we're going to read out their names now.
Okay.
You'll probably already have a Discord DM from us.
Yep, you'll have a Discord
friend
DM
request.
from us already. And Nathan, you're going to read out the person's name, the
And what they
YouTube comment, and not even what this is too long. You're just going to say the
Champion.
champions they found were annoying. We're going to read them all out, but we've got
Now we had this mega episode.
completely railroaded in this episode. So I want to shout out to Nathan,
Nathan what?
our moderator for today.
Absolute terrible job.
Notice in the last few podcasts, who had the laptop? Go back and check, guys. Who had the laptop in the last couple
It
of
was
episodes?
a way more structured, calm episode. This
And who
episode
has
was
it now?
chaos.
Who has it now?
We're going
I-
backwards.
And what brand was the laptop as well? What is this?
Mac is clean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Windows is
Dirty.
Mean.
it's a bit messy. All right, so first one here comes from Andrew Wallace. He said Jax.
Agree or disagree? Is that champion annoying or are they not annoying?
Yeah, Jax is. So I say I play Jarvan and Jax. Like a lot of people play Viego and stuff. Jax just counters a lot of junglers, like bruiser junglers, which people like. So Jax,
Yeah, counters melees for the most
counters
part, right?
melees.
Auto attack based.
Jax is the best champ in the game. But if you're from a mid lane perspective, Jax is
Don't
nothing.
care.
I
Or
actually,
mage.
as an AD carry, don't care about Jax.
Don't give a
at all.
shit.
I can easily just wait out his
Tight.
E and then play.
Very
I think
yeah,
Jax is
one-dimensional.
insane. I've lost so many games to Jax.
Oh, when they're fair though, no,
Jax
yeah.
has been my band sometimes.
Really? No, never cared once about Jax.
Next one here came from D Grimer 5828. Shaco.
What I'll do, sorry, these will be on the screen. If you want to read the
Yes,
explanations,
smart. You're a genius,
put them on the
Charles.
screen. Done.
Shaco.
Yes, the most
Yeah.
annoying champ of the game.
Yeah, I banned Shaco for seasons,
I ban
yes.
Shaco so frequently throughout every season, no matter what.
Yep.
Great choice. You're correct. That's just correct.
It's
a correct opinion.
I love playing against Shaco. Free wins for me is Rek'Sai, and I have tools to deal with Shaco in the jungle. I can't about teach people. I have like a whole section on Shaco that we say about how to deal with invades and stuff. And
Bloody hell.
just ignore it. Just play your game. Don't play his game. Next one was Smolder by Addison Knight 5907.
Correct or incorrect? Is that a correct opinion, Charles? Is Smolder annoying to verse?
Wouldn't know. I usually play it myself.
Okay.
When I verse Smolder, no, it's very, very easy to beat Smolder. You just try and force extended fights, ruin his lack of wave clear in the early game, take good tempo recall. Yeah, I mean, it's just...
Yeah, I feel like it's very divisive. Like a good Smolder, I feel like is incredibly annoying to deal with.
Yeah.
And if you're average at the champion, or obviously it's subpar, then it's the easiest champ in the world to verse. It's like I feel like it's an extreme champ. You need to be very good at that champ, in my opinion, to make it work well.
Yeah.
Next, do I need to talk about Smolder?
No, I'm very good at Smolder. So
I just like
Smolder.
Smolder on my team. I think Smolder's the best champ in the game.
Yeah.
Especially Charlie Smolder.
I win every game.
Next one here comes Prof Dopamine Rengar.
Oh, agree.
Correct.
Agree.
Yeah.
That's a good opinion.
Yeah.
Rengar and Shaco, junglers.
Rengar
Interesting.
and Shaco are what I call minigame champions. They're not real League of Legends champions. They are meme champions.
Yes.
And that's it. So
They don't belong in this game.
no,
They're from another
Removed.
planet.
must be removed.
They're critters.
Yep.
That should be exterminated.
All right. And our last winner of the Battle Pass that we're giving away is Lilia.
Terrible opinion.
Incorrect opinion.
False.
You think Lilia's easy to play against?
I think Lilia again can be annoying. But like I wouldn't say it's like I don't look at Lilia and be like that's annoying.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't give me a visual feeling.
Enye says here, enemy team Lilia feels like a mosquito.
Then get your bug squatter out. Get your bug powder.
No, I think a good Lilia is
A good
extremely-
Lilia can be annoying.
breaks your ankles. I mean, if you're playing melee champs,
yeah.
you guys don't play melee champs.
Not that much.
That's why.
Yeah, true.
I played melee champs. What are you talking about? Played every champion in the
Lee
game.
Sin. He's Lee Sin. There.
Lee Sin, man. course. I also bet a lot of
This is a
Lily.
drone.
No, but Lee Sin can get on. No, Sejuani vs Lily would be a nightmare for you, Charles. You didn't play Sejuani and Lilia days.
No, I would never pick Sedge
Yes,
into
you'll
Lilia.
get
That
your
sounds
ankles
hellish.
broken.
That sounds hellish.
That's exactly right. There you
Just
go.
don't play Sedge then.
Yeah, that's true.
End of review.
So congratulations, guys. You guys will be receiving a DM from us on Discord or a friend request, either or, with your battle passes ready to
Codes.
go, your codes.
And again, thank
Congrats.
you to Riot, courtesy of Riot Games.
Riot Games, league partner it up.
That's it for this absolutely mental episode about Apex tiers, high elo. We'll see you guys on our next episode.